tonight opener.
Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for a match review / player ratings of yesterday's debacle. This will become a more regular thing, obviously, as the rest of the season goes on, and we'll go from there next season, depending on how the schedule works out with the fans being now back in and things like that. But we'll get back to that later. As you can see, I'm joined by Russ, Warren, and Melvin. Again, they've come back to relive the I don't know what I even called it anymore. The debacle. Farce. Oh dear. I mean, me and Melvin were on a live on Richard's channel earlier. We got a bit of therapy out of our system. Bit of therapy. But Russ and Warren have been stewing all day. I know Russ has. I've been talking to him this morning. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting. There could be a lot of rants. Hence why the title does have rants possibly incoming. Oh dear. But so yeah, Russ, I mean, we'll get you out of the way first. I mean, it's nearly 24 hours since the kickoff of yesterday's game. Is it any easier, or are you just like more over as the day goes on?
No, to be fair, mate, I did kind of expect it. I think I said to you ages ago that any sort of Liverpool team, no matter in how bad a shape they were in, they would come and sort of, we wouldn't be able to beat them, and that was the case. I was just really disappointed with the performance, really. We just waved, it seems the white flag was waved before a ball was kicked. It was just one of those insipid, awful games. We didn't do anything in the first half, and then when we conceded one, I knew that we would start conceding a couple more, and that's what eventually happened, really. So I'm just fed up, really. I just don't think Arteta his in-game management is shocking. I don't substitutes are questionable at times, and I just can't see how it's going to get any better. They may as well, like you said yesterday, may as well just finish the season now, because I'm just fed up with it, really.
Well, I'm not even enjoying it. I mean, all the grief in IM we got near the end of his time, it's like, but at least he was trying. Sometimes he react instead of being proactive. But there was times where he was proactive and realised something weren't working. And at the start, whereas Arteta's never been like that. He's always been reactive, and it's very concerning. I mean, to the point now where it just seems like the players don't give a shit. They don't want to be there. And apparently Brighton are now winning 1-0, apparently Welbeck scored against United. So, hey, Brighton could be catching us soon at this rate. Fucking hell. I think the players don't want to play for him. They don't have faith in whatever he's saying on the training bits. They don't have faith in what he's putting on what his words, what he's saying, basically. What he's trying to implement, they don't have faith in it. I mean, like I said a few weeks ago, we didn't believe in his system before we play West Ham. And then fast forward 2 weeks, you think that be ironed out, the players that didn't go international duty, this, that, and the other. And it looks even worse, because they just, from the first second all the way to the end, nothing, absolutely nothing from them. And what pissed me off even more personally was it was on Rocky's anniversary, and they showed nothing. There's no from any of them. The only one that had some sort of merit at one point was Gabriel, and then obviously near the end with a couple of goals, he had a bit of an involvement in it happening. Obviously, especially the third goal with it going, like, trying to get rid of it, and he got back and he just didn't defend properly. But I mean, literally, it's saying something at 0-0 when our first shot at Liverpool was on target was from our left back in Cedric. We apparently had one other shot, which I don't remember.
Header from Pepe, I think.
It might have been. Apart from that, we didn't stretch it. Look at the players they had in their centre back pairing. A guy from Preston that just bought Davies, and the guy from Schalke who Mustafi's replaced. So
Yeah,
they were there to test and take for the taking as well. And we just didn't bother. It was like watching Arsenal if this was Liverpool last season when they were going for the title and weren't going for that 100 points, 100 plus points total and all that malarkey. But it wasn't the case. I mean, you said earlier, us and Andrew in the chat and Andrew channel, Burnley, Brighton, Fulham have all gone to play Liverpool, even though it was at Anfield. They've gone and played them, gave them a better game, took the game to them, and won and took 3 points away from them respectively every time.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that? And you could argue we have better players, but it's a game management, and it's the same players that always let us down. And what's concerning me even more now with Arteta is it seems like the last couple of games he's shoehorning, since the top North London derby and all the fallout there, he's now shoehorning Aubameyang into the squad just to appease him.
Yep.
Instead of, because that one before that he was going for one or the other. It's either him or Lacazette. If one weren't playing, the other was, and things like that. Whereas now it's just like, no, I'll go off. You're both on there. It completely unbalances us. That's not them two playing together in a team in any formation has not worked since Noemi's first season. So why is it going to work suddenly now?
I think because you have to play. You have to play. If you're going to play both of them together, you've got to play a 5-3-2, haven't you? Because to be honest, Lacazette's better up holding the ball up and then arriving in the box a bit later on. Aubameyang needs to run in behind, so you've got one hold-up player and one, obviously, who likes to run in behind. But they don't play a system that allows Aubameyang to do that. He's no good out on the wing, out on the left wing. He's just a lost soul. And if you're going to have three in midfield, you've got to have a holding midfield player. We've got one of them, maybe two with El Neni. And then you've got, you're probably going to have to play 5-3-2 if you want to play both of them, because they're only going to work if they play up the middle.
Melvin, what are your thoughts on you've had time to sort of let it sink in? And
I've got to make an apology, actually. I want to apologise to the manager, apologise to the coaching staff, and apologise to the team, because it's my fault that I keep thinking that this team is better than what they are. Before every game, I think, this is it, boys. We are actually good. We can win this. We can do this. We can do that. Then after about 5 minutes, reality sets in. That's not their fault. It's my fault for actually thinking that they are better than what they are. So that's number one. Number two, you're talking about the Emery and the current manager Arteta. There is a difference. I think Emery, at the end, you had to get rid of him. There was no question.
Oh yeah, I'm not doubting that. I was on that board already.
But my point is, he lost the players. They down tools for him, 100%. They weren't interested. They were actually slapping him around, if you like, metaphorically. They showed him no respect, and they just went through the motions. With Arteta, I think they show him respect, but they just don't get it. They don't actually get what he wants, and he chops and changes, it seems, like he chops and changes his team. That's two different things. And I think that why ever he lost the team, was it communication problems with him? It might have been, but we've had other managers in the top division who can't speak English and get their point across.
He also can't speak English, can he?
Exactly right. Well, Pochettino with Spurs, do you remember that?
Yeah,
with Southampton, from Southampton. Yeah. Everyone was taking the mickey out of him, but bloody hell, what a manager he is and was. So I just think that this is something wrong here. Like I said before on Richard's channel, we seem to take one step forward and 12 back now. Our good games are going up 10%. Our poor games are getting down 30% from the last time, and it can't carry on. Like someone said in the chat, the Arsenal misfit. I should know your name. I apologise if I don't. Is it Steve?
Steve, yeah.
Steve, sorry, Steve. Like you said before, Steve, you said we've got before Christmas. We've gone back to our form before Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, that's because a bit of a coincidence. Not the only reason, but Smith Rowe's not playing and Saka's not playing.
Yeah.
And before those two got together, I know Saka was playing, but the partnership he's got, the two of them, the partnership and the 1-2s we're doing through defences, are not happening now because they're both not playing. And that made a big difference to us. And I think that Arteta got away with it then because he didn't actually perhaps want to pick Smith Rowe in to start with. And he had to with the injuries we got around Christmas time. And he found the solution by default. And I said this before, by default.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but once you find a solution, surely you should stick with it. Unless there's an injury, obviously, then you stick with it.
I think he's got
but straight away, Martinelli got dropped.
That's another subject.
He fell on this formula, which involves Smith Rowe, Saka, Lacazette being the linchpin at the front, and
moving the ball
Martinelli all part of that front four. This before the guy came in, and it was working. And then I think it was the Newcastle League game where in warm-ups Martinelli twisted his ankle a bit and had to sit out. And ever since then, he hasn't started the game, I don't think. But so he's now being dropped for no reason. He's not given a chance, even though Arteta's singing his praises in press conferences saying he's doing everything I want of him. If that's the case, fucking play him. What's the worst that can happen at the moment?
I mean,
and obviously, Smith Rowe was in and out of the team. Smith Rowe's in and out of the team, left, right, and centre. And now Saka's obviously picked up a knock because he has been overplayed. I mean,
you know what I think we ought to do? There's a case for getting most of our players, stick them in a deep freeze for a year or two until the other youngsters come through, and then playing with the youngsters. I think we'll have a decent team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think what's not helping him either is literally, as you said, the chop and changes of the lineups every game. You can't say this is his back four now. This is his midfield. This is his. He doesn't know. He doesn't know his strongest 11, which is concerning for me, considering he's been in the job over a year now.
Yeah.
But
Ryan, I've got a stat for you.
Yeah, sorry.
I've got a stat for you, mate. Of all the players, we've had 33 players turn out for Arsenal this season, right? 29 of them have actually got on the pitch. Yeah, and between them,
so what's the other stuff? Been in the air.
Well, they're out on loan and haven't made an appearance.
Oh, right,
mate.
sorry.
So what we've got, this will prove Ryan's point here. We've got Ryan having made 3 appearances, Gabriel 16, Cedric 9, Chambers 4, Mari 5, Saka 18, Odegaard 7, Partey 16, Emile Smith-Rowe 10, Lacazette 26, Martinelli 7, Willock 7, Tierney 23, Leno 29, Runnison, Bellerin 22, Holding 22, Louise 32, Ceballos. That includes substitutions. But almost we've got 33 players who between them have totaled over 360 odd appearances. That shows how much we've chopped and changed our side.
And also we did change the back 3 to a back 4. We did play with 3 across the midfield and there 2 across the midfield. We chopped and then we played with Odegaard just behind the front 3. That hasn't been done before. Wasn't done before he came, obviously. So it's a lot of chopping and changing.
Yeah, and that's
we're not going to get an identity with that, are we?
And that's not going to. And again, that's probably not helping Wide. Hence, the Lacazette came out the other week and said, "We don't know what he wants. We don't understand what he wants because, as he said, he's chopping and changing everything. If he's consistent, if he has a philosophy, there's a formation. He's a 4-2-3-1, whatever. That's his favourite formation, whatever. Go with that from day one and stick with it no matter what. Don't chop and change because now you're confusing everyone, and that's got to a point where things ain't looking good in the league. We were 12 defeats. We are now 10th with a team above us with a game in hand. 12 league defeats. And of all the grief most of us gave Wenger in the last few years of his time, never in 20 odd years at the club, 21 years nearly, 21 years, nearly 22, did he ever have a season where we win double figures in defeats. The most defeats under Wenger, I'd say 5 or 6, nothing, no more, no less. Obviously, the less was, I say less, no more than that, because obviously less was like the invincible season and the odd defeat here and there in the early 2000s, but not to this level. Even Unai Emery was to this level.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, you're not big enough. Wenger. I mean, Wenger was fantastic. Most certainly the first 10 or 11 years, he was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
You're not bigging him up. You're just saying, making a comparison. The guy we got rid of, and I thought it was right to get rid of him at the time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right. that if Wenger changed his name, you'd rush for him to get him back. The history that guy's got, the record he's got. So what we've got now, and I actually said it to Richard, the question, if we're talking about Arteta at the moment, my question would be, and I've been pro Arteta for some time, as you know, Ryan. You know, I've been willing to give him time and everything else. And all three of you, what attributes has Arteta got to let you believe that he's a top-class manager or coach?
I can't think of one.
That's bad. The three of you can't think of one.
I personally can't think of one myself.
Oh, he sorted out the defence to a certain extent, didn't he? But obviously, we've conceded sort of 3 goals in the past 2 games consecutively.
That's not an attribute, though, is it? That's just something that's happened.
Yeah, exactly. What has happened? That's what I was saying. He didn't manage to sort it out. Our defence was a problem prior to his arrival, for sure. He managed to sort that out, and then suddenly he sorted the defence out, but then the goals dried up. And the goals, we still can't score goals. We have a real issue of getting the ball from the back through the midfield to the forwards. I don't know how he can't rectify that. That's one thing that he cannot do. He hasn't been able to figure that out yet.
Here you go, Russ. On that you were saying about the transfer of the ball forward. Now, what we've got here is we conceded 35 goals in the Premier League. Yeah. From that,
how many games is that, Warren? How many games?
In the games we've played so far. Yeah.
Yeah. How many is that?
So 30 games, I think it is. We've done, isn't it? 30 games.
Pumps, yeah.
We've conceded 35 goals. 22 of them have been through mistakes playing from out the back. We went through it this morning. Literally all the goals that Arsenal conceded, and 22 of them are giving the ball away playing at the back. That's an amazing stat.
There was one yesterday, wasn't there?
Yeah.
The third goal, yeah.
Yeah.
Gabriel
just kicked it to the...
We've got Leno 3, Bellerin 3, Gabriel 2, Holding 6, Luis 6, Ceballos 3, Xhaka 5.
The Ceballos ones are the best. The hospital back headers, yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that back header was good. Nice little flick.
Yeah.
Nice little flick. So better spin as well.
And to get back to Melvin's point, here you go. Right now, I'm going to read out one column, and then I'm going to read out another column. You tell me if you're happy with the players in this column. So you've got in one column Ryan, Gabriel, Cedric, Chambers, Mari, Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Partey, ESR, Balogun, Lacazette, Martinelli, Mavropanos, Willock, Guendouzi and Tierney. Would you say most of them were worth keeping at the club?
Yeah, most of them, yes.
Most of them, yeah.
Okay, so they have made, between them, 152 appearances this season, with substitutions and everything else, okay, in all competitions. So then we've got the next list, Leno, Runnison, Bellerin, Holding, Louise, Ceballos, El Neni, Xhaka, Willian, Oba, Pepe, Nelson and Ketia, Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac and Torreira. Would you keep most of them or any of them?
No,
I'll keep very few.
So here's the stat for you. They've actually appeared 241 times this season. So there's 90 more appearances with that list on the right than there is with the ones we want to keep on the left.
Is it a similar amount of players on both?
Yeah, it's 17 players on the left-hand side, with 4 of them out on loan who haven't appeared for us. We got Saliba, Mavropanos, Guendouzi, yeah. And we've got, on the other side, we've got 16 players. They've
still played more.
Oh, fuck it.
The 16 players on the right-hand side that we wouldn't keep have made 241 appearances this season.
Yeah. Tells you something, doesn't it?
I mean,
and you wonder why we can't win games of football.
Yeah, Sam's in the chat saying now Arteta has the worst stats across the board in his first 50 Premier League games in charge compared to Emery and Wenger's last 50. Only thing Arteta has improved is goals against ratio decline, not progress.
Yep.
We're not even playing. against the lesser opposite, like the mid-table, like sort of our sort of level at the moment, mid-table to lower like relegation teams, we're not playing good football. We don't attack the teams. We don't go for the throat.
No. Well, we don't go for the chest about the throat.
I mean, combined.
Only 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, mate.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, all right. Very, very simply, and then we've got the money we've spent. So Pepe total amount. I went through this with a guy who really knows what he's talking about. Pepe 80 million, Saliba 30, Tierney 30, Luiz we end up paying 24 million over the price of his contract. Yeah. Partey 45, Mari 7.2, Gabriel 23.4, Runnison 1.8. William, we actually pay him 27 million over the time he's going to be with us. Yeah. And that's a total spend, because they all say, oh, Arteta hasn't had money, but he has, because that's a total spend of £275 million when you take in wages and everything else. And they looked at the money that they would actually spend on getting the money back. So we've actually recouped 110 million of that money with sales. So that's a difference of 151 million pounds that we've laid out for these players over the course of them staying with us. So you can't say he hasn't had money. And the value of those players at the moment, because they're not doing well, and you can't put Odegaard or anybody we've got on loan into that because they don't belong to us. The value on those players that are with us at the moment is 77 million pounds. Compared to the 151 we've already spunked down the tubes. And that's the pure financial facts of what we've done. 275 million pounds spent out, 110 recouped. The value of the players left on our books from those buyouts is 77 million, which is a shortfall, massive shortfall.
I'm not defending the owner, right? I'll be perhaps one of the last people to do that. But if you were the owner of Arsenal, would you put money in to these people spending your money? Would you have the confidence?
I wouldn't give Arteta money when he's gone and spent 51 million on Luiz and William.
No. Well,
all the stuff before it.
No, that's more sort of Raul Sanyehi more than anything else, I would say. I mean, got to give Edu some credit. I mean, he's brought in Gabriel and he's brought in Partey this season. I mean, this was the first sort of
Martinelli
win. This is the first sort of window he's had. Everything before that you could put down to Raul Sanyehi and his little black book of all his agent rates and everything else.
At the end of the day, Russ, the manager signs off on it. You know, because he's playing them, Russ. He's playing.
Yeah.
He is playing them. Yeah.
You know,
don't forget Gazidis, boys, in that equation.
Don't get me started on Gazidis.
I mean, I'm not being funny. I ain't being funny, guys. Leno's a bang average at best. Bellerin, we all want rid of, don't we?
Yeah.
We're not. Are we entirely happy with holding Luiz, Xhaka, and Willian?
No.
Okay, but so between those 5 players, 150 appearances this season. You can't.
I mean, I was talking about this on Richard's channel earlier, and I've said it a few times. This was in terms of Leno. This was a huge season for him to prove a point to our fan base, and because of the Martinez thing and what happened there, and if anything, he's declined, and because of the fact of how arrogant we also seen that interview rehashed since when he won the penalty shootout against Liverpool in the League Cup. His attitude was, I weren't concerned. The club backed me. I was number one. So he was always comfortable. And then that's the worst thing to do, is even as a goalkeeper, because you get comfortable when the little mistakes come in, and it's a consistent thing. And Matty Ryan's been brought in back in January on loan.
Better keeper.
Out of the two, I prefer, because Matty Ryan's played one game for us against Aston Villa, and performance-wise, the goal we can't blame him for the goal either, because it was a deflected. Everything was out of his hands. It deflected, and it was out of it. It was got. He couldn't reach it. The deflection took it away from him, so you can't blame him for that. But Leno's
I've got to say.
Leno just stays on his line. I've noticed that a lot this
Yep.
season. He stays on his line. He doesn't come out to come out for the ball or whatever. He stays on his line, tries to stop the ball going in that way. Whereas
Yep.
what we saw with Martinez, I think this is what worst
It's
thing
like-
for Arsenal, because we all saw it. We saw him back in the summer come out for the ball, commanding the box, being good with his feet, and distribution was absolutely fantastic. He commanded everything. If he weren't comfortable passing out from the back, get forward now and booting it up there or throwing it up there.
I mean, what Melvin was saying when he was turning around and saying about, can you think of anything that Arteta can possibly be lauded for? And I don't think you can make a case for defending Arteta, because he consistently, as people have pointed out, he keeps picking players who have mistakes in them, and not just mistakes that they learn from, but continue to do so. I mean, Russ has said it on numerous occasions. I've seen Russ laugh when people like Xhaka has been picked. Do you know what I mean? And Bellerin has played 22 games this year. Holding has played 22 games. Did we not see enough when Holding fell asleep against Man City to know not to put him in the side? Because his awareness of what is around him is absolutely shocking.
And wasn't his first this season, though, Warren?
No.
Against Everton, he fell asleep, I think, for the first goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can go back further. No, he's not the answer.
Ever since he's come back from his ACL surgery from his ACL, and we've done that, he's not been the player we saw just before he got that injury.
Yeah.
He's declined, and he's getting worse and worse and worse. Like you said more recently, before this game, the Man City game, when he switched off and let Sterling, smallest player in the pitch, just go, okay, bang, goal, win, okay. And it's just like, and that, again, concerns me. Every time I see him in the back four, no matter who's on the right-hand side and the full-back role, they're not going. It won't work because Holding's there. Anyone else plays there. Mari plays there, who's there-footed. David Luiz will play there. I'm trying to think now. If they were here, Saliba or Mavropanos, I'd have more faith in them.
He's having a cracking season.
Yeah,
he's playing very well, evidently.
He's having such a good season, Mavropanos, that Sven Mislintat, who's at Stuttgart now, by the way, is trying to get him to come stay put.
Not surprised.
I'll tell you what. I've got a thing here, and I'd like all three of your opinion on this. I'm going to read out a name, and you tell me what you give them out of 10 for the season so far. Okay? Because this should be absolutely obvious to Arteta, and if it's obvious to the rest of us, it should be obvious to him. Leno, what would you give him out of 10 for the season so far?
5.
Realistically.
6.
4.
I've got 5. So, Runnison.
Well,
minus
zero in the league.
Minus 0 plus infinity.
So we'd all agree that we'd have Ryan. I had him down as a 7.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have Ryan above Leno. Bellerin, out of 10.
5.
5, 6.
I've got 5.
5 at a push.
Tierney.
7, 8.
7.
Yeah, I've got 7. Gabriel.
7.
7.
I've got 8. Cedric.
6.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say
I've got
7.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holding.
5.
6.
4.
I've got 4.
Yeah, I was thinking 5 or 4.
Chambers.
5.
Chambers.
He's only played a couple of games, isn't he? But 6, 7.
6, yeah, 6.
6. Yeah.
Mari when he's played.
7.
7.
Louise.
7.
7 or 8. 7.
Yeah, 7.
I've gone 6, mate. Saka.
8.
Saka or Xhaka?
Saka.
Saka, 8. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, I've gone 8 as well.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah. Ceballos.
5.
He's tailed off, isn't he? 5.
Yeah,
4.
I've gone 5. Odegaard.
7, 8.
8.
7, 8, yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone 8. Partey.
7.
6, 7.
I've gone 8. I
7.
think there's something really about him. El Nini.
He hasn't really
7.
played, has he?
6.
7, 6.
But in the games he has played.
Yeah. 6.
7.
6.
I've gone 6. So Smith Rowe.
I'll have to give him a 9.
I'll
I've got
give
9
him
as well.
I'll give him a 7 only because he's tailed
Yep.
off for it. I know he's been playing a lot of games, but there are I've seen quite a few games where he's not really making an impact. So
Fair
I'll
enough.
play a 7.
Okay.
I'm sticking a 9.
Lacazette.
7.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've gone 7 as well. Xhaka.
10.
There's one of them, isn't there?
On that
You
one,
don't
you
hear
know.
mine, Warren.
7,
I've
mate.
gone 5.
Oh,
I want to plead the 5th on that one. No, I'll give him 5 as well.
Yeah, I'll give him 5.
Okay. Willian.
1.
1. Yeah. Exactly.
4. Would you give him, Warren?
I'll
give him
4.
1.
Right.
What do you give Aubameyang this season?
1.
5.
3.
I've given him.
He won
I've
a
given
few
him
tosses,
4.
didn't he?
Yeah. What have you given Pepe this season?
Pepe, 4.
I'd like to give him time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
6,
gone
7.
5. Yeah. Nelson.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you
Nelson's not
hasn't
played,
played,
has he
really.
yet? Has he played?
He played.
Yeah, he's played.
Yeah, he played a bit, but not enough. But like 4.
Yeah.
4, yeah, 4.
Yep.
I'm being
I've
more
gone 4 as
positive than Richard, and that's saying something.
Martinelli. Martinelli.
Well, yeah, he played.
He played,
I know,
is he?
but
Can't really sort of
when-
give
when
him
he-
When he does come on,
7.
he's
For the
made
effort.
7
Yeah,
appearances.
7 if he comes
Yeah.
on. The effort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
7.
gone 7. Okay, so that's going through them all, and pretty much we're of the same thought.
Richard doesn't agree with us, though, does he? Richard's given
No,
us loads of scores
Richard's
there.
Very negative.
Yeah.
For a positive Arsenal channel.
Richard
Yeah.
wants the total clear out.
He's been given
But,
a negative.
What I'm saying there is we have all turned round and said what we think about the players, and we're pretty much on the same page. And
Very
if
much so.
Arteta can't see that,
Very much so.
well, where do we go from there? You know, if he can't, or if we can see what the best possible 16 or 17 is, and then add some players to it, and all the deadwood that should be cleared out. But you know, we've gone and spent big money on just players that are just not good enough to be at this club. And I'm sorry, we're not a training wheels club for this bloke. We're not.
No. This is the thing, as I said, I keep saying, when Eagles hired officially, I did a live stream that night, literally within the hour with James Rowe and Colin, and I was like, my main concern was, why have we got to be a training program for him to learn his trade?
Yep.
Why have we got to be the guinea pig? And it's come to fruition because that's always my main concern. Give him a chance because obviously he's been hired now. Nothing I can do. I want him to prove me wrong, but he hasn't. This season has proved that I was right to be concerned, and not to listen to the media lovers that go, "Oh, look, it's Arteta. He's worked under Pep. He's the best thing since sliced bread." The players love him.
How many big clubs, if we like to put ourselves in that category, which I don't, well, we are a big club, but big teams would allow certain players to play play very poorly so many times and keep picking them. We seem to do that. I don't know any other big team or club that would allow that to happen.
Russ is right when he turns around and says it's not just one player, because it isn't just one player. It's 6 or 7, but they keep.
It's the same 6 or 7.
Almost like they're taking it in. Same 6 or 7, and they keep taking it in turns almost to screw up. And
I've called them, Warren. I've nicknamed them the usual suspects.
They're not so magnificent 7.
Yeah, the t-shirts are being printed. The t-shirts are being printed.
Thing is, for me though, it's what happens though, isn't it? It's like Shaq or David Luiz, they'll be all right for like 6 or 7 games. So you think, they've turned a corner, but then suddenly they'll just either like they'll
Russ,
just have
I love your optimism.
But they do, don't they? That's the thing. You
are
get on board
fantastic.
with them. You get on board with them, and then they crash it. They completely blow your confidence, don't they?
But
then the next game they'll play decent again. But the problem is, as Stan was saying yesterday, the issue is that those mistakes lead us to lose matches. If we were 3-0 up and David Luiz makes a clanger, it doesn't matter, does it? Because we lose 3-1 or 3-2 or something like that. But it's the issue that the errors they concede make us lose games. Yeah. We're never in control of games. But whenever they make a catastrophe, the rest of their heads go down and it's game over, basically.
Absolutely. Well, and the players you've mentioned there are responsible for 29 goals against us. Those 6 players. The Magnificent 7, if you add Ceballos in there, are responsible for 29 goals that we've given away from playing out of the back.
I mean, it just comes back to the old thing with us, is that we don't have any leaders or captains, really.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you say the head goes down. That's why you need a decent captain to get them up, get them going. But we don't seem to have that.
But that was the thing I was saying earlier. I was on that the problem is the 2 players that are captain material are Xhaka and David Luiz. That's a big problem.
I like Tierney better.
And and Tierney as well. Yeah. He's always injured.
Yeah, I better say.
You've got a captain that plays every week.
Yeah, true.
Really.
Yeah, let's not go back to another Martin of giving him the armband. He gets injured, but he's got the armband still always injured though, because ever since Vieira left, that was a sort of a curse of the armband. Henry got it always injured till he left, and then it was passed on, and every player was fucking injured every time they got it. I don't go back down that road. I'm fucking sick of it. But Steve in the chat, apart from William Gallas, he just feels strop.
Got no chance of getting a City job.
No, literally, Steve is saying this is his opinion, saying that Arteta wants the job at City when Pep leaves.
He's not getting it.
Where he's training, we are his training ground. Yeah, we are. We are.
If he genuinely wanted the City job when Pep leaves, he would have stayed at City.
Yeah.
Richard again saying if Xhaka had played half as many poor games as Partey, he'd be crucified. This is true. Same with David Luiz compared to Gabriel. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but also at the same time, in terms of Gabriel, more so, he's new to the league. He's had COVID as well, so what's not helping? As I said on the channel earlier, what's not helping the likes of Gabriel and Mari, who've just come in by the new centre backs? It's not helping them. It's a constant every game. I've got a settled back form. No, I'm going to change it now, and I'm going to change it now. I'm going to change it.
I'll take issue with that because I've got the stats here.
That's not helping the back four. These players settle in, and then when they're playing alongside the likes of Holding, they're all over the place. They don't know where they're coming from, basically.
Well, that's what I said to you earlier, wasn't it? I said, but Gabriel, he started 17 games. We've lost 9 of those games that he started. He's a problem. Get rid of him.
We've got Partey, who's had 16, 17 games, and we've got Xhaka, who's had 32. Partey's given the ball away once for a goal, playing out from the midfield, and I'm afraid, when you look at what we've got there with Xhaka, he's given away 6 goals. So Partey's played half the games. If Xhaka had played half the games, he'd have still given away 3 goals.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just the ones that he gives away goals. The amount of time that he could get our attack going and gives the ball back sideways, does a little pirouette. Going back to Gabriel, yesterday, I thought before he made his howler that he was the best player.
He was the best player on the half. Yeah. I mean, and it's like when you look at it, isn't it? And you go, oh, Gabriel, 16 games, he's given away a couple of goals. Well, Holding's played 6 more games than him, and he's given away 4 more goals than Gabriel.
And he's in a new league and in a new language as well. So he's probably not completely fluent in English. So he's in a new country, new league. Everything's new to him. And what's not helped to yesterday, because as you said, he was our best player up to that point. We made that howler for himself.
Yeah.
But what's not helping him is when he plays alongside someone like Holding, and Holding makes a mistake, and then his centre back partner, then his head's gone. He's like, I can't. What? Help me! It's not
the issue. Is I I don't think either of them are sort of a leader, so to speak. So
No, but
it's
one can develop into one's old, like young enough, sorry, to develop maybe down the line, maybe, whereas the other has been here long enough now, should be that leader and isn't that leader. He's still playing like a rookie defender, basically.
Well, we've seen in previous games that when they play together, they just can't play. Basically, they just can't play together. So I don't know why he put them together yesterday. I mean, what was wrong with Murray? Just stick him in. Just Murray. The thing is with Murray and David Luiz, they're both quite. They like to take ownership of what's going on, but they don't seem to get on either. So I don't think you can't play Murray and David Luiz together because either of them probably won't take orders from the other. And then you've got Gabriel and Holding who won't talk to each other at all because neither of them wants to take ownership of anything. So it's easy for us to say, right, okay, don't play Holding and Gabriel together. Play either David Luiz with Holding, which they've been quite a good pairing together, or you could play. I don't know why, but you can't play two left-footed centre backs together. There's a law. You can't do that.
You could have done it before COVID, Russ. It was allowed before COVID, not since COVID.
So you can't play Pablo Mari and Gabriel together. Apparently, you're just not allowed to.
I can't.
But I get what you're saying. It's easy for us to say, but no, we're not in training, so we don't know.
I mean, we just keep picking the same players, don't we? That keep messing up. And I can see in the chat people going, "Oh, Louise and so are much better players." Yeah, and it's like Russ said, they'll fool you into thinking they've turned a corner for 4 or 5 games, and then they'll make a howler that costs us 3 points. And if you have enough players of those in your team, you are going to drop points through it. You're going to give away 15, 18 points a season. You can't afford to do that and be competitive. You can't.
No. I mean, Sanjay in the chat is asking thoughts on Uber. I think he's not the same player. Agree. He's blocking Martinelli. Agree. Arteta needs to bench Uber. He agree, but he won't. And the last 2 games have proved it because he should have done. And up to that West Ham game, as I said earlier, it would either be Lacazette starting or Uber starting. If one wasn't playing, the other one would be, and whoever wasn't be on the bench basically, and come off at the last 20-odd minutes or 10 minutes, whatever. But suddenly, since that North London derby, Arteta's had a brainstorm moment and thought, "Oh, I know, it worked 2.5 years ago. I'll try it again. It didn't work at the beginning of the season, but I'll try it again." And he's now shoehorning Aubameyang into the squad and putting him out on the wing. Just to keep
yesterday, Alba
to keep
played
him happy.
on the wing last season, scored 29 goals. Why is he shoehorning him in all of a sudden when he's been playing on the left and scoring regular?
The reason I say Sean, I base it on this season, his form this season. Since this season has started, apart from the first game of the season, he has been abysmal, let's be honest.
He's been average,
most of his performances
he keeps changing the formation, so it doesn't help you settle.
And like we said, he stumbled on a solution, a formula back on Boxing Day when he was on the verge of being sacked, in my opinion, because that was literally
he would have gone.
Losing that game in Boxing Day, I think that would have done it for me. I was already on the verge of. I was on it on the. He had to go, but for me, that would have been the game that the ball would go. Oh fuck! If you can't defend him anymore, out you go.
Well, if people were in the stands, he would have gone before that.
Oh, he would have gone after Leicester City or Burnley, one of them 2 games, or Aston Villa possibly. One of them 3 games, but none of these performances from Aubameyang have merited him not only keeping the armband but being in the 11. And when you're hearing he's having disciplinary issues away from the match days and turning up late and things like that. I mean, the other day when he arrived back on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever, everyone else is in their training again. He's there and he's normal average. So he's literally just turned up. So he's clearly turned up late again. And there's no consequence. It's inconsistency from
He had an excuse, though. He had an excuse, though. He went to the
hairdresser. Get his hair done. He went to get a dress.
I'm glad someone has.
That's got to be possibly. It's got to be possibly the worst hairdo I've ever seen on a football.
I need the number of his barber.
I think we all do at this point. But,
no, you don't, Russ. You honestly, you don't.
Imagine me with that, though, don't you?
Oh man, that was about the only.
But yeah, it's not, and yeah, it is, and it must be. And that's, as you mentioned about Martinelli, it must be frustrating for him, especially for Martinelli himself, to hear the manager praise him in press conferences, saying he's fantastic, he's doing everything I'm asking of him on the training pitch, this, that, and the other. He's doing nothing wrong, but he's on the bench. And the one of our worst players, even though he's done well for us the previous season, like last season before when he joined us.
You know, bringing him on.
He's dropped off this season.
3-0 down.
And when that was it, when Arteta fell into that formula that works on Boxing Day, Oba weren't part of it. It was, as we said earlier, Saka, Smith, Martinelli with Lacazette up top, and that worked. And suddenly he got cocky. Arteta got cocky clearly, got confident, overconfident. Thought I can take one out here, put him back in there, and things like that. And he's slowly gradually done it with other players as well. It's like we've gone back. It's like people saying in the chat earlier. We've gone back to the form we were in before Boxing Day, between November 1st and Boxing Day.
Yes, and when you watch Smith Rowe, and it's not surprising that everybody raves about him because he just carries the ball with ease. He just looks utterly comfortable.
Yeah.
He prods players. He gets balls into good areas. He carries the ball so comfortably, and he just drifts past people. He looks like he's 29 rather than the age he is. He's a quality player.
He's very aware of what's around him as well.
Yeah.
He'll get the ball and he just give it straight away to someone. Straight away, who's in a better position. Some of our players get the ball and what do I do with it? He knows when he gets that ball what he's going to do with it. Is he going to run? Is he going to pass? Is he going to do a 1-2? He's fantastic. The kid's fantastic.
He's always looking to beat the press as well. If any team that's playing a high press or whatever, he's always looking to make that movement to beat it. And I think we said it last night. It's clear and obvious. We do miss Smith. We miss Smith, Rowe, and Saka.
He's another one. We can't
pretty
rely
damning.
on him.
But it's pretty damning that as a whole squad, they're heavily reliant on a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. And no, he's not reliable. You're saying about his obviously, but I think you're about being his injuries, but because he's getting overplayed. So
he's had a history of it before, though, hasn't he?
He's had a history of it before, but then that's what I'm saying. Arteta knows his history. He's been here long enough, over a year now. He's sent him out on loan, this, that, and the other. If anything, this international break just gone. Even though he got called up to the under-21s, I wouldn't have sent him out. I would have said, look, he's been playing loads for the last few months. I need him to rest. We didn't have a pre-season. He played a lot of games. He is shattered. Can we just, have him back in like they did with Saka? But they didn't, and now we're back in a situation where both of them are out injured, with little knocks here. But we clearly missed them massively, and that's we damn it. I think if I'm a senior player, I'll be ashamed of myself. I'm on massive wages, and I'm being outshone by academy players that are coming through the ranks. They're showing more passion and desire, and the reason they're showing more passion and desire is because they are Arsenal lads. They've come through the academy. They know what it means to play for Arsenal. I mean, Ian Wright there was a clip on actual anniversary of Rocky's anniversary on the actual day with Ian Wright and Saka, and it was like Saka was saying when I first came the academy there at the Dome there, the David Rocastle Centre, they're educated straight away, so they know things like the history of the club and they know what it meant to play for the Arsenal.
Yeah.
And the Geordie Armstrong of the training centre as well.
Yeah, the Geordie Armstrong training centre.
Memorial they got there.
Yeah.
If you don't know about Geordie Armstrong, then you're not an Arsenal supporter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean the history, the Charlie Georges and the Liam Brady's and things like this. I never understood, and I've never understood why people don't have that utter passion for the club. And if you're playing here, you've got to show it. And your likes of Smith Rowe and your likes of Saka, they get it. I'm not so sure that other people do.
You've got to ask yourself why they come to Arsenal. Is it because they love the Arsenal or they love the wages?
Love the wages.
I'm not saying they all do. Some definitely do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can also argue some of them use us. Depending on how old they are, they're young up and coming players like Samir Nasri. They use it as a stepping stone for bigger
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
As we've seen, Halep did it. He literally set the second big Barcelona came in. Oh, off I go, bye-bye. Of course I'll go. Flamini used this as a stepping stone. We bought him in 2005. A few years later, he was off like, bye-bye, AC Milan want me. And then he comes running back when they don't want him anymore. And we allow it. But it's going back to Liam Brady, I think it's no coincidence. Look at the time frame that he left the club. Fully right. I'm leaving at the end of the season. Was when Stan Kroenke started getting the majority of the shares in the club.
No, Liam Brady wasn't with Kroenke.
No, but I'm saying no. As Stan was starting to build up his shares, build them up, Liam Brady basically went, "No, I'm out of here. Bye." When Hillwood and all
Kroenke
that started
wasn't
selling
buying
up,
shares then.
yeah.
It's about 30 years different.
No. As in when Liam Brady was doing was working in the scouting
youth
academy,
team.
wasn't the youth team?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
I think that was
you almost
Yeah,
confused me.
apologise, sorry.
You almost confused me.
Well,
but you did.
It's
Well,
no
that
Kroenke's
always
born in the
amazed me.
70s, yeah.
Because we went for the wrong one, didn't we? Because it was recommended to go for Bale, and we went for Walcott instead from Southampton.
But I'm saying it's no coincidence as well. If you looking at it at the time when Stan started to build up his shares and all that, and become a majority shareholder, that Liam Brady, who was working with in the club itself, was like, "Bye bye, I'm out of here."
He was a youth development officer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah, he brought in the likes of Ainsley's of this world and all that, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and all that. He brought them to the club, and as I said, the second that Stan starts building up his empire, so we say, he was like, "Bye, I'm out of here," and he's not being invited back. I don't think, even as on there when we
People
were
talk
fans
about
were in.
legends. People talk about legends, but he is a legend.
Oh yeah,
Not
definitely.
because someone scored a cup final goal to make him a legend all of a sudden. He was a proper Arsenal legend.
Yeah, but Brady, without a shadow of a doubt, was an Arsenal legend.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah, that was it. Head of the youth academy. Yeah, but as I said, the second he, and then obviously and as things over the next few years started going, for the whole club itself decline, and I saw it coming. Hence why when we fell out the Champions League that last game of the season, in the 16-17 season, I said this has been 5-6 years in the making since that Liverpool game when we drew. Was it 2-3 or whatever? No, I can't remember what it was called. No, 2-2 when there was like that extra long injury time bollocks. And then Boué.
You're talking about the Boué penalty.
The Boué penalty. That's when because he was there that day. Because he started building. That's when he started being more out there and saying, "Look, I'm buying all the shares. I'm coming. I'm the majority shareholder now. I'm going to be here." And then that day happened.
I thought he bought all his shares in one go. Did he buy
not in one hit. Gradual.
Oh, was it? Right.
It was gradual because they were still hesitant, weren't they? He had to convince certain people a bit more than others. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once he acquired them all, it was just wearing down the fan base, and Usmanov, the ones that had shares within the club itself, and wearing them down. Once he wore down Usmanov, there was no going back. Then he could do what he wanted because he had enough percentage to go. Okay, I'm forcing you to send them to me.
Compulsory.
I mean, I've got a thing with and I was never Arteta in, and you know that right from the word go. And I don't think we ever finished top 4. I don't care if you give him 250 million to spend. He's spent 270 million in wages and bringing players in. Now, I mean, for instance, you had to judge success by, we should make top 4. I mean, you look at Guardiola, you could say, yes, with the money he spent, 805 million, he should be winning the Champions League every single year. Is that failure? Possibly. Winning the league is or winning titles or winning cups. It's got to be that's a bare minimum to win your league. I would have thought if you're spending 805 million in 4 years. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at it, and the overall fact of it is, we've spent 270 million in wages and buying players in the last 18 months.
Yeah, you're right. You're
And we've got
absolutely
nothing
right.
to
And,
show
but that's
for it,
another
right?
thing with me is that they say the Cronkies don't invest, and it's clear that they have given
Yeah,
money.
they have. Yeah.
They've just invested it. They've entrusted
just-
the wrong people.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Would you? I'm going to ask everybody here now. Do you want to give another 200 million, right, to Arteta in the summer and let him spend it?
No, I'll give it to
No,
Edo though.
I don't. I don't want Arteta to have it.
No, what I'll do come the summer, come end of May or whatever it is, and the season ends. Arteta, you've done it. You've had a season and a half. It hasn't worked out. Here's the payoff. Off you go. Go and get another manager in that actually knows their craft. And then
Benitez would come in like a shot if you asked him.
Well, what was it? I think Russ was saying that yesterday, or someone was saying yesterday in the stream.
Yeah.
That when he was doing a thing for a Newcastle game, he was invited on Sky. Melvin,
That's
that was
me.
it. Melvin, that was it.
Yeah.
And he was literally everything he was asked. He always took it back to Arsenal. Going back, he was talking at Liverpool, but when he was at Liverpool, he was talking to Arsenal, and because they had a blueprint, and the blueprint he saw was, in his opinion, the future of football. It was the right way to go and get back Arsenal back to winning titles, this, that, and the other. Everything he said went back to that. And I've watched it a few times, even since last night's game.
I mean, here's
he's like,
the
"Come and get
easy
me."
thing, right?
It was come and get me.
This was the time when he was still in China, by the way. He's now a free agent, like a Ledley.
Yeah.
So
He's a free agent.
He's come back now, as in
If he's a free agent, what's the downside?
Go and get him.
exactly.
No, there isn't.
So I'd go and get him, and then get rid of Vinay. Vinay can
John's
piss off.
absolutely right.
Put Edu in that position, and then bring in Overmars, who's a free agent this summer, and then all three of them.
I mean, that's
all
my
work
thing.
together.
Is
all three of them, and then go off, work together, and rebuild this project. Start a whole new fresh process or project, whatever you want to call it, and we go again.
I wouldn't mind seeing Overmars play instead of Aubameyang on the left.
I'd even go. You know what? I say Edu. You know what? I'd share the responsibility. I'd get rid of Vinay, put Edu in that role, but also put David O'Leary. So it's like they both got the same role, but it's a shared role. So they both got that bit of support. They're both Arsenal men with a bit of support to each other, back and forth with each other.
I'd rather see Stanley Matthews play on the left than over.
Have Overmars in Edu's current role, and then have our new manager in, or head coach, or how you want to do it. But they all work together.
Well, what do you want to do, Ryan?
Build.
Do you want to spend 15 million and get Benitez in for 3 years, or do you want to give William 27 million for just wandering about like a?
Benitez all day long. Benitez all day long. I mean, look at the job that Benitez did at Newcastle. He came in, they went down, but he stayed with them, got them back up. Let's be honest. I think Newcastle fans will agree.
Yeah, ranked team.
When they came up, that was a champ. When he's at his time there in the Premier League, that was a championship team at best. And he constantly, because of his tactical nous and how he demanded everything to get the players to give everything, leave everything on the pitch, he achieved mid-table with that team, with a team that should have gone down. And we're seeing it now. Obviously, Newcastle.
Hey, we're mid-table.
Yeah, we're mid-table.
That's the point I was making earlier, though.
So
Ryan.
if that's his ceiling, then we need something a little bit better.
No, but what I'm saying is that was with a championship team. So imagine what he can do with an even better squad of players. That is a thing.
Yeah.
And
you guys were talking about Arteta in or out, and I'm for supporting if he's going to be their project like many think he is. There's going to be a little bit more surrounding him. Like you said, Overmars, he needs better. Of course, he needs better players. Everybody does. So that's usually an answer. Every transfer window, every team's trying to get better players. So that's a given, regardless of whether it's Arteta or anybody else. We forget about that one. But he needs better people around him. He needs. If this is Arsenal, that he needs better assistants on the sidelines next to him. He needs better people in the boardroom, right? The board members. If there's somebody in the boardroom that isn't fitting, isn't Arsenal, then they need to go. If there's anybody below, right below the owner that needs to be supporting the team, they need, when they need to replace it, they need to. I'd rather them take 100 million and put it into players and take the other 100 million and fix up the rest of the structure of the team. If that means Overmars, if that means Benitez, that whatever that means, they need to do it. You got to spend your money wisely and get the best. Why aren't they out there getting the best of something? We are not getting the best of anything right now. You know, give me the best. Yeah.
Problem is, we've conceded 22 goals playing out from the back. So the players clearly that we've got there, whether that's Arteta's fault, whether it's the players' fault, don't get the idea. They can't do it. They're not capable of doing it, or they think the instructions wrong and whatever. You know, what we have to turn around and say is, if they can't do it, then surely you change it, don't you? Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it keeps ending up in the back of our net, at what point there, as a manager, do you go, this isn't working, I've got to change it?
Yeah, well, you know what? We saw what happens when he tried to change it yesterday, all right? Yesterday, he actually tried to change it. He said, you know what? We're not going to play out from the back. And it looked disgusting. It looked really terrible. You might as well just have played. You might as well have said, you know what? We're going to roll the ball like you do in practice out to Liverpool and let's go again, right? This is defensive practice for Arsenal today. That's what we're going to do because that's all we did. Every time, even when we got an interception, we were so hesitant to hold on to the ball for a second, we kick it right back to them. Doesn't matter where in the field we were. We could have been in our goal.
The back. The one time we did play out from the back, Gabriel gave it away. Scored, so we can't do either. Let's just face it, we're universally shit.
Well, we're on two ends of the spectrum, right? We're just really bad at both. You know, there's no happy medium for us right now.
No, and then as you said, he's trying to change them because he keeps chopping and changing, and not just the lineups, but his tactics, no matter what, or his philosophy. It is confusing. And I was like, well, what do you actually want from us? What do you want to actually do going forward? Fuck knows, I don't know.
well, think about it. You know, if the structure we wanted to play yesterday,
it's not attacking football, is it? So
yeah. Well, would you have been upset if we had played in 3 in the back yesterday?
No.
Based on the way we were trying to play?
No, I wouldn't have been.
No.
It was the only way, wasn't it?
Why, you know, and that's an easy thing. Why doesn't he do that when he can? You know, he doesn't want to, he knows he doesn't have the players he needs. You know what? Why don't you go back to your trusted and true? You know, you play 3 at the back. You've got an answer for that. Yeah. We can counterattack with that if we need to.
Yeah.
So why not just do that? Solidify your back. No goals go in, and then you attack when you get a chance. We seem to be good at that, and that's the only reason why he still has a job, right? Because he's got an FA Cup doing exactly that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he needs to do it to hold on to his job. He's not doing it, and he's just gonna, you know, as some said, I would be scared for him on that last game if the fans are in the stadium. It will be packed. It will be packed. I don't think people are gonna. I think it'll be packed, and not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I can't prove it. It's only a thought. I'm a bit worried that the guys he's got around him are yes men.
Yeah, I am too. Very much so. It's a great point.
Yeah. That's a very big problem.
Yeah, and as I said, I think you brought it up yesterday. As I said, one of them yes men been a David Moyes yes man when things went bad at Man United in their 9 months. He hasn't got anyone around him. But he was with him at
Everton, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, but at the time, Everton and Man United, the difference between Everton at the time and Man United, isn't there? There's a massive step up, and it was just like, okay, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir.
Well, they were punching above their weight, though, weren't they? Everton at that time.
Yeah, they were.
Every year they would sort of like get top 6, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I think one year they got top 4.
Yeah, but they didn't qualify for Champions League, did they?
Yeah.
They got knocked out in the preliminary round.
Yeah, they got knocked out by the team that we knocked out in the semi-final.
How consistent? Talk about Everton. How consistent is their right back, Coleman?
Yeah.
Same as Coleman. Yeah.
What a player!
How he's never been snapped up by anyone in the Premier League.
Yeah, and that's another reason why Arsenal doesn't need to take an airplane flight to anywhere to pick up players.
Yeah.
They don't need to. The only player that's out of the country they need to continue to try to hold on to is Martin. You know,
and he can take a throw in.
I mean, there's no reason to go outside the country. I mean, we can't afford to do it anyways. Tickets are expensive, and then you have to deal with, COVID. Why bother putting yourself at risk? Just, stay home. Your players are right there, and if you need to step down a level, you go to Championship. Then you go to the Championship and get players. They're good players down there.
I reckon
there's some good players at Brentford.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a few. I reckon our admin is so poor, we'll probably buy a player next year that we've sent out on loan and don't realise.
Yeah.
That Saliba looks good, doesn't he? How about we pay 30 million for him?
Let's pay 30 million for him.
I mean, the scary parts are people want to.
Amazing, 20 million.
Yeah. The scary part is there's people that think we want to sell him and then go and get another center back. I'm like,
no.
You're not going to get the money for him anyways. Why don't you just play him?
Exactly. What's the worst that could happen?
There'll be an old boy like Sideshow Bob available, and they'll go and buy him from some Brazilian team next year.
We're talking of Sideshow Bob. Apparently, he's had a minor knee surgery and could be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, some people will want it to be his last game.
Yeah, I saw your comment on that earlier.
Looking at our worst defender, he's been probably one of our best, actually.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's like people lay into him all the time.
You know what?
Like, why?
You know what? That could be the difference of David Luiz. If that's the case, so he can be that the rest of the season between us winning and not winning that Europa League, because he could be in what he is, just get us over that line. Without him, I don't see us at all doing anything in that competition. If we get past Slavia. Dynamo Kiev or Villarreal. If Villarreal, Unai Emery's up for it, he'll get his players pumped for it for that reason. They will knock us out. Whereas with someone like David Luiz, because of his experience, he'll study certain players like Gabriel, Saka, and all that, shut them down, organise things, and make sure that doesn't happen.
Until we get to the final when he gives the ball away.
He makes a silly back pass. Yeah,
and then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Even though we won't, with or without him, but there's more of a chance with him. But because, as you said, he'll get to the final and then fucking throw it all out the window.
You know what? But shouldn't he be able to figure out how to play Marie and Gabriel together?
Yep.
I was saying this earlier.
If he figures that out, then we don't losing Luiz shouldn't be that big of a mess.
We can always call back the others, Gary. I mean, we've got Mavropanos and Saliba are having good seasons.
Yeah.
So then you've got 4 centre backs there. You've got Chambers as well. Yeah, you've got Chambers as well if you need to.
He's a versatile player. Yeah, he can play all round. Cedric can play all around cost.
But like I said yesterday, I think Arteta writes everything down in pen. And once it's written down, he just really can't change it. He's got to write it all over again. It takes a long time to write it all over again.
He hasn't got a second piece of paper, so he's not going to keep rubbing out names.
He's got to figure out how to play his. He's got 20 plus players. You need to figure out the best formation and structure for all of them whenever they're on the field. He's making them all look bad, and that's that's his job, right?
Yeah, well,
you take your players, you put them in positions where they can exceed. And
question for everybody here, everybody that's on this panel: would you rather give Arteta 200 million in the transfer window, or would you rather give it to Benitez?
I'd rather give it to Benitez.
I only want to give it to Benitez if he's a manager of Arsenal.
Yeah. Obviously.
You're going in the dungeon if you keep on, mate.
We've had Emery, we've had Arteta. Do we want another Spanish manager? I'm not too sure.
Well, I think the difference is, as I said, he's Premier League proven as well. Whether he's been in England, Liverpool, Chelsea, even though he weren't loved at Chelsea because of the Liverpool and Chelsea rivalry at the time, he did what he did there. He got them in Champions League spots. He got them a Europa League winning team as well. So for a week and a half, they were holding both Champions League and Europa League titles at the same time.
We're never going to get top four with Arteta. We just might with Benitez.
And even as I said, even at Newcastle, with a Championship-worthy team, look what he achieved. So if we could do that with that team nowadays, look what could he possibly achieve at Arsenal with a better squad. And just to be honest, compared to Unai Emery's squad, to Arteta's squad of players are better than what we had under Emery, but they're not performing like that because they've got a rookie manager in charge that doesn't know what he's doing. He's making it up as he goes along. I mean, Frankie's in the chat saying, what comes next? Wenger, Unai Emery, Arteta, ? We say, but Allegri, Benitez, there are managers out there that want the job. Ancelotti, before the first time round, was begging for the job. I know he's gone to Everton since in the second time round, but there's the managers because of what Arsenal has become, because of what Wenger did with us for the 20 odd years he was at the club and put us on the world map. Managers abroad and in the UK want the Arsenal job. Brendan Rodgers, the last time round, wanted the job, and as soon as he realised he weren't getting the job, he used it to his advantage to get himself a new deal. Even at Celtic, he wanted a job.
Yeah.
All that matters, none of this, no matter how bad we are, and we've been bad for years. We've been on a decline for years, and everyone knows, and everyone can see that. Even Arteta acknowledged that. Yeah. So it's none of this. Oh, no one will want to come to us. So managers do want to come to us. It's just the board trusting the ownership and the board. And the one person I don't trust in this board at the moment is Vinay. Out of the people that go out and recruit managers or players or whatever, the hiring fine comes down to Edu. But when it comes to recruitment, it's Edu, Vinay, and whoever else is on the board. Vinay, I do not trust with a fucking anything, basically.
He's hopeless. Yep.
He needs to go.
The thing is he a football man?
No.
And if he's not a football man, he can be on the ball.
Be doing anything.
He shouldn't be making football decisions.
Decisions.
Exactly.
All decisions should only be made by football. Going back to Benitez, what I like about him, there's loads I like about him, is he's one of those, to be a successful manager, you've got to be able to get the best out of your players to improve them. And he's done that in the past with so many players. How many players have really improved under Arteta?
Exactly.
There's 3. That's it.
The
rest have all gone back.
You could say
Saka, Emma Smith-Rowe.
The irony behind it.
Before.
It was good, but he's played a lot more since, and this, that, and the other. You could say, but
Tierney.
I was going to say now, even Guendouzi, who's been sent out on loan, if Arteta stays, he ain't coming back. Let's be honest, and he's been misbehaving now in Burnham anyway, so you can't see him coming back.
Yeah. Throwing pizzas.
Whereas,
just like Cesc.
Whereas again, with Rafa Benitez, I think he would get Guendouzi to toe on and he'd shut up.
Yeah, of course he would. Yeah.
And if you ain't behaving yourself, you ain't getting a squad at all. None of this, and they keep it in house. That's the thing with Benitez; he keeps everything in house.
Yeah,
yeah.
He did
it players play for him to a man.
Yeah, but he's
they're not playing for him. They're not playing for him.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's tactical now. So the game Rafa Benitez is something else. To do again, I keep referring back to it. To do what he did at Newcastle is ingenious, basically, because that should never have happened with the squad of players he had at his disposal.
Yeah,
and that's why I say
they're being shown up for what they are now, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, exactly. That proves our point. He goes, a world-class manager leaves Newcastle. They bring in. To be honest, a mediocre coach in Steve Bruce. And they've been shown for what they really are. And the only add-ons they've made is Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser. Everything else is Benitez's squad, basically, still. The majority of it. And yet we're seeing
Steve Bruce is like your granddad turning up at a game and giving you advice, isn't it, really? In an under-12s game or something.
I mean, even
you talk about Benitez coming, but like you said, I think the selling point isn't there. Who's telling him to come in that he can go? All right, I trust this guy to help me out when I need certain things, or I'm going to get. No, I understand that, but he can't just come in this structure of Arsenal and be able to get what he wants done. I don't think he can do that.
Yeah. That's
I think he needs somebody above him that actually is more that would understand where he's coming from and be able to sell that to the board, right? That's unless he can do it himself, but then you're back to a Wenger type situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would rather have somebody long for Arsenal that would be sitting in between the coach and the manager and the board kind of thing.
It started going wrong when David Dean left, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That night, yeah. But this is why I said, go back to earlier, why I said I'll get Vinay the boot from his role. If you want to keep on the board, whatever, like Melvin says, but when it comes down to that role he's in at the moment, go and talk David O'Leary, get him back in the book, bring him to the board, give him that role. and then go and get Overmars as well, and have a duo between Edu and Overmars in the role that Edu's in at the moment. So it helps Edu out as well, because he's still learning, whereas Overmars is an experienced man in that role, and he can spend 3-4 seasons at the club before he moves on to his next project, Overmars. And in that time, Edu is then learning off Overmars, learning the European market, learning how to longevity-wise have our academy thriving for the longevity of the rest of our lifetime, basically, and passes it on, etc. And in the meantime, we've got to go between David O'Leary, between the board and them three, and obviously who the manager, them two, and whoever the manager may be, being that footballing man, the Arsenal man, the go-between. And David O'Leary loves the club. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You only have to see his daughter on social media, how every time anything Arsenal related comes up, or it's his birthday, the love he gets for it, and anything he does on social media pretty much is Arsenal related, even now. So that's the route I'd go down, and as Gary said, you need that go between the owners and the people downstairs. Basically, David O'Leary would be that perfect man, and he's like Rafa. He's his own man. He will not cut around the bush or anything. He will say it as it is. If you ain't stepping up to the job, if you're not good enough, he'll move heaven and earth to get you out, basically, no matter what role you're in at the club.
Yeah.
He'll have the best interest of this club at heart, whereas Vinay doesn't. All he cares about is money, money, money. I mean, I saw a post earlier where he's trying to scrap memberships for a what was it? Some sort of a card system, basically, but depending on how much you spend at the club, is how much you get rewarded and how you get tickets and season tickets and things like that. Whereas now is obviously, if you've got it, you can actually go and get a membership or a season ticket, or put yourself on the list and wait until it comes along. He wants to scrap all that. Apparently, he's just always interested in this fucking. But don't
just the money.
Helping out the basically. If you've got money, we'll have you. Is his mindset. If you haven't, piss off, basically. Loyalty or not, I don't care. Go away. Don't need you peasants. We just want
Guys,
the money
that's my dinner just turned up, and I'm having a Chinese, so I just want to say thank you very much for having me on. If you're still on in half an hour, I'll be back. If not, it's been great sharing the show with you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warren, you well, mate.
All right, Warren, have a good dinner.
I mean, either of us has disappeared at one point. Oh dear. Yeah. But yeah, we're going in an hour now. An hour and 17 minutes.
So
now.
you guys still went all the reviews. Who was your lowest?
We haven't done the ratings. We've reviewed the game. We haven't done the ratings yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we'll get onto that now. We'll obviously start with Leno. Russ, are you there? No. Okay, we'll start with Gary then. I mean, Leno, what's your rating for Leno?
Yeah, I think he had a bad game. I think we needed to see better from. Like I always say that he needs to show me why he's the better goalkeeper, right? And not only that, not just to Emi Martinez, but basically to a reason why Ryan doesn't get to play. And I think we've been saying a lot that he probably needs to take a little break. And goalkeepers don't need rest, but mentally they do. They even fall asleep. I mean, it seems like he's fallen asleep twice on that side, ball coming off his left side twice, in the last couple of games.
2 games.
So coming off and he could see that coming. You could see that coming. You got Salah and Gabriel one-on-one. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen if you're the goalkeeper? You've seen this before, right? Yeah. Salah, is if it, we even talked about it that on the Arsenal fan circle. Gabriel needed to bring him down. Yeah, at that point, right? He needed to bring him down.
Or
somehow.
made sure he got the ball. He never. To me, he half-heartedly. We should have gone through the man and the ball.
Yeah.
Worst way, give a free kick away.
And then Leno has to see that coming. He needs, and once again, his communication is, probably another reason why, the first goal goes in. He just doesn't have it, and he doesn't come. If he's a German, if he's on the German team, and Neuer is the top goalkeeper, he's got to be picking up something from him, right? Something, a little bit, something like even like just to look. Give me more communication from him. I mean, I know we're reaching when we ask for that, but he's got to be picking up something, right? He's still young, supposedly, right? But no, I gave
his mind wanders.
Yeah, I gave him a 3. If we're gonna rank him, he got a 3 for me. I mean, it's gonna be hard for me to give anybody a much over a 5 today. You know?
Well, also for me as well, I sort of agree with you as well in the 3 because I think it was I'm trying to remember what goal it was. I think it might be in the third goal when the Usher scores. He gets a hand to it, but he doesn't actually get a full proper hand. He doesn't get a stiff hand to it. He just gets his hand. He goes, This is meant to be a number 1 goalkeeper. And he's not. I mean, Fabianski at Arsenal had stronger wrists and hands than what this guy has. And he doesn't. We also I mean, it's literally like I said earlier. He doesn't come out and command his box. He always stays in his line. He's a shot stopper. I know people don't like to use that phrase, but he is. He just stays in his line and tries to stop the ball going in that way. He never comes out commands the box like Donnarumma or Martinez did when he was at Arsenal. I mean, Melvin, what was your rating for Leno?
I'll give him a 4. Bits more than Gary on the basis that he did make one good save at 2-0 when he came out, but just a 4. I've got no confidence in the guy, to be honest with you. And he's a decent shot stopper, but anything that comes across or on the ground or in the air, I'm struggling with. So 4 to that for yesterday's performance for me.
Russ?
I would have given him a 5 because the first half he didn't really have to do very much. I do think for the Jota's first goal he should have done a bit more. He should have. All right, it was basically holding and Chambers. Well, you can't really sort of blame Chambers more holding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he should have. I think he should have been a bit more commanding. But I'll give him I'm going to drop him to a 4 because anyone who gets nutmegged loses a point for me, basically. So.
Yeah.
4. I mean, Salahav's great goal, but he needs to keep his legs together, really.
Yeah, and we're going to right back now, which was Chambers. So again, we'll go the other way round. We'll go the other way round now. Go with Russ for this one.
I didn't think Chambers had a bad game, to be honest. I thought he was all right. He sort of dealt with Robertson sort of coming at him a few times. Yeah, in the first half, I mean, he was pretty good. He couldn't really get forward. I know that's not Chambers' game, but obviously, no one. If you're trying to get anything to the forwards, none of the forwards was actually doing anything at all. But just for that, I'll give Chambers a 6. He wasn't great by any means, but he wasn't bad either.
Melvin?
I'll give him a 6 as well. He looked a little bit like a fish out of water right back a couple of times, but he did make too many or hardly any mistakes, and he was penned in a few times as well, and he had a tough job, as you say, with the 2 of them coming down the left-hand side, Sane and Robertson. So yeah, I'll give him a 6. It's not his natural position. He's not. I know he did well against West Ham. You can't put round square pegs in round holes.
It's different gravy in it.
Yeah.
Liverpool. I'll be 1 minute, or I'll be 2 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And Gary, what about yourself for Chambers?
Yeah, I guess I'm a little harsh. I guess I'm gonna give him a 5. Part of it's not all to do with him, but it's all he doesn't have support definitely to his left. All right. He's asked to, he's got to help holding out, which is pretty bad at that point. He shouldn't have to do that. You can see the difference, I think, with Luis and holding next to him, right? So I think that's the thing you can see is that there. You can see the difference there. So I'm going to give him a 5, and it's not necessarily because he did as much bad as he just. The support around him just wasn't what it needed to be in a game like that. He didn't look, of course, he didn't look the same against West Ham, and I guess it probably shouldn't if Liverpool is playing the way they did. But I don't think all of this, the way the game played out, was more on Liverpool as much. It was only Liverpool. I think we had a lot. I think we had a lot to do with the way that game went as well, and that kind of. I think that's the mentality coming in. So it hurt us, and it hurt a lot of our performances. Yeah. So
Yeah.
5 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the other guys and say I'm agreeing with 6. I mean, people that were giving him stick for the first goal. What was he to do? Just stand there and do what fucking Holding was doing, just not even try. He was basically trying to get back and do what Holding was meant to do, but he couldn't because Holding just. And this is where we're going to get to Holding in a minute. He's just literally watched that goal over and over again, and every time he's literally from that ball that gets into the box, he just watches it. He's literally looking. He doesn't look around him. What's going on? He looks at the ball. It's ball watching, defending. But hey, what do I know? We've said that Holding now, so we'll go on to Holding. Russ, what are what's your rating for the form of
Holding? Oh God. He had a shaky game, didn't he? He wasn't his greatest. He lost his Mavjot's goal, and he just had a bad game all round, mate. He was going back to, all right. Recently, he's had some decent performances, but he's really showing his level for me. I think offering him a new contract is a bit premature in my viewpoint, because he might have 3 or 4 games where he thought, this guy's actually finally got it. He's actually become not elite level, but a good defender that we can sort of rely on. But performances like yesterday, it brings you back down to earth, just to say he's a decent defender, but he's not great. And I think ultimately we should be looking beyond him, sort of going forward, maybe sort of next season. I mean, he's good to have as a squad player, but as a first choice, especially with Gabriel, because they've got no sort of partnership, or I can't see any sort of shoots to say that there'll be a decent partnership. So I'll give him a 4, because that's all I can really give him.
Yeah, Holding you're talking about.
Yeah.
How'd you guess?
I'd give him, for yesterday's performance, I'd give him a 4. I mean, for a 6'3", 6'4" centre half, he can't head a ball, and that's his problem, I think.
The irony.
Cannot head a ball for a tall geezer like that, which should be his strength. He cannot head a ball. So yesterday's performance aside, 4 for the big mistake he made in the first goal.
I mean, how many more times has he got to be outdone by the smallest player on the pitch?
He should listen. The Arsenal should invest and buy him a pair of wing mirrors.
Even then, I don't think it'll work. Gary, what about your rating?
I'm going to be really, really harsh here. You guys are really nice. I think I heard 2 4s, right?
Yeah, 2 4 so far.
No, I don't know. Okay, I'm giving him a 2. He's been a passenger. Actually, he's been at the scene of every crime. Some of the biggest crimes we've had in this this season. He's been right there taking snapshots. He's got the front row seat. He's right there every time, and it's not the first time. It's not the second. It's multiple times. Every time he's right there. This time he actually wasn't in front of it. It was right behind him. So it's even.
He totally missed it. Yeah.
He missed the crime happening right behind him. I mean, that's just. I'm giving him a 2. And it's more, like I said, it's more because he's always there, right? He's always there for these negative plays that we talk about. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm looking for him to actually, do something extra. It's not your fault all the ways, but you're gonna have to give us something, right? You always have. This is a team sport. You're gonna have to look out for your partner when they screw up. Chambers tried to, but he was just not fast enough. But it's Holding for me. Nah, I gave him a 2. I didn't think he had a good game, and as you said, he's not a starter for us, and I guess we had to go to him. But I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a Marie Gabriel combination back there, just because I feel like they're right now our best center backs we've got. Yeah, and they're gonna have to try to figure out how to play them, I believe, going forward.
Yeah, they have to. And like the comment here that says, again, I'm not going to try and pronounce the name.
Can we get Ikiwawa on here, because he knows this stuff?
Yeah, he says he gets beat by the football all the time. He does, and this has been.
He's absolutely right.
He's been in long enough now. This shouldn't be happening. When he first comes in, because he's young at the time, you can understand. But this is like how many years down the line now, and this is still 2016 when he came in, and 2021.
Yeah,
and it's still happening.
But the one for when Alexander Arnold's like whip that in. I mean that cross that's a brilliant cross. I mean you can't really sort of blame him. Yeah,
but it's no matter whatever sort of balls. But if it's a great cross, even if it's the worst cross in the world, he gets done by it. In the small Man City, as we said earlier, when Sterling scored against us a few weeks ago at the Emirates, winning the only winning goal early on, it wasn't the best cross in the world. But it beat him, and he had no awareness. But it beats him, and then Sterling's just there. He didn't have to jump Sterling. He just went, okay, boom. And he's the smallest player on the pitch at the time. And then, like we said yesterday, Jota, smallest player on the pitch. Holding's a very tall man, and he doesn't get anywhere near the ball. And he jumps with it.
If he's within touching distance of Jota, next to him, shoulder to shoulder, he must win the ball. Holding. But he's not next to him. He's a yard or so away from him. Therefore, the flight of the ball beats him. That's the difference. He's not aware of what's round him. Said it before. He's not aware. You've got to be a defender. You've got to be aware of where the person you're marking is. He had one job at that time. Holding, mark the centre forward, and he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And John says here, apart from Gabriel and Tierney, the rest of the defenders can go. I'd keep Mari. I've got no problems with Mari. And also when the summer comes, Mavropanos, and give Mavropanos and Saliba the chance, for fuck's sake. What can go wrong at this moment in time? Can it get any worse than this? Let's be honest. Under Arteta, possibly. Under Arteta, maybe. But realistically, no. Because Mavropanos will now come back after 2 seasons out on loan. They have a massive point to prove to stick it to the, obviously, Arteta now, and obviously previously Unai Emery. Mari, Man United just scored 2-1 now. Greenwood just scored.
Nobody's going to make. Nobody's going to. Give us any joy. Just nobody's going to do that.
But Pablo Mari, he's done nothing wrong since he's come in. Saliba will have a point to prove, with or without Arteta being here. He's going to have a point to prove to the players. To the manager and the club and the fan base. So it's always when we send something like that, they come back with a point to prove. We seem to get something out of them. Something their tune comes out because they've got that point to prove. Chambers, the same issue when he went out on loan, came back after Fulham, had a point to prove, was fantastic up to that injury. With all due respect, compared to what we had beforehand. And same this season with Mohamed El Neni, compared to when he was beforehand, gone out on loan, come back with a point to prove, and I'm just like, so, but all the other players, all the other defenders, they can all do one. Hector being the first. But yeah, I've got to agree with Gary and give him a very, very nice 2. And that's been very nice. I mean, Warren gave him a 1 already in the chat.
Where's Warren anyway?
He's having a Chinese.
He's having his dinner, and if we're still on, and if we're still on by the time he's finished, he'll come back on briefly.
Not where's Wally? Where's Warren?
Now we're going to go for Gabriel. Now we'll start with Gary this time for the Gabriel.
As we said, we don't think that combination is going to work. Holding in Gabriel, and we saw another reason why Gabriel needs some support, and that's what Luis gave him. Regardless of whether it's language, but I think it's also experience as well. And that's why it worked. Holding supposedly has experience in the Premier League, but it's not helping Gabriel. Just as the game wore on and you saw it towards the end, Gabriel just got a little bit anxious and ended up getting a yellow. And I think that's partly because he's just frustrated because it's just him out there trying to figure this thing out by himself with no support. Which is, probably true for a lot of our youngsters. They don't have, a little seasoned veteran around them. They're going to struggle a little bit, or if they don't have players that work the same way they do, they're going to struggle a little bit. And that's what we got from Gabriel. I actually thought he had a okay game. giving him a 5. Maybe that's a little high, but I feel like as I think I said earlier today, if you take some of our good players and you surround them with crap, they all smell. They all smell, and that's going to be my phrase for the day. They all smell, and that's kind of what you got. Everybody smelt, even if they didn't do it. They all did. They all smelled pretty bad, regardless. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 5. I think he had a decent game, but I think he's got too much negative things happening around him. You lose Tierney on one side, you got Holding on the other side. I mean, what else could go wrong for him in terms of the support he needs? Yeah.
Melvin.
Well, the third thing that can happen, Gary's got Leno behind him. Anyway, right, I would give him a 5. I thought he made 2 mistakes yesterday that led to goals. And I think that on that basis, I give him a 5. Other than that, I would have made him our man of the match. And give him an 8. But I'd give him a 5.
Yeah. Thus.
Yeah, I think you guys have said it really. He sort of did well in the first half. He sort of kept Salah at bay. Or I know Salah had a couple of shots, but yeah, I thought he did well against him, to be honest, in the first half. Obviously, he missed that tackle to when Salah scored. Well, obviously, it went through Leno's legs. So, but yeah, it was one of those things. And then, the other goal as well. He sort of the pass out from the back. Yeah, awful, really. But that's Arsenal. I'll give him a 5 as well. Otherwise, I would have said, he was probably our best player.
Yeah, I think it's unanimous there. The first one we all agree on, 5. Again, as Melvin said, if it weren't for the 2 mistakes in the end that led to direct goals, it would have been an 8/9 because he was our best player at that time up till then. But then, again, that's what happens when you've got someone like Rob Holding who's dropped a clanger and that loses his head. And he's not a natural leader himself. That's it. But everyone around him fucking falls apart, basically. Tierney, this is going to be an interesting one because he only played the first half and he went up injured again. Oh, dear. For me, I'll have a 4. Can't give him more than because he didn't have loads of time. Didn't do much in the first half. And yeah, I mean, Russ, what about yourself?
I thought he did all right, to be honest. He was he didn't really get much of a chance to sort of show his attacking sort of prowess, really. As again, he just got injured. I'll give him a 5, mate. Yeah, I just hope that the knee problem he had isn't as bad as what we're hoping. Being Arsenal, he'll say he'll be out for a couple of weeks and he'll be out for the rest of the season. So
no, you watch.
Yeah, so that's a big concern for me. But yeah, I'll give him a 5. He didn't do anything bad. He didn't do anything particularly good.
Or he'll be out for a couple. You say he'll be out for a couple of weeks, and he'll be in the game on Thursday and get injured and be out for the rest of the season. Then
yeah. Or he'll just say he'll be out for a couple of weeks and we won't see him again till December.
Oh dear, hated that under Wenger every time.
Yeah, it's all right. He's out for.
He's only out till September.
Rizicki's out for 2 weeks. Yeah, 9 months later.
Or what was it at one point? Walcott. He'll be back. He's out for the rest of the season, but he'll be back for the first game of the next season. Didn't see him until November against Sunderland. Oh dear. Melvin.
I suppose I've got to give him a 5, really. Uneventful game for him. Normally he's up and down, marauding up and down the left. Didn't get the chance, obviously. So just 5 for me.
Yeah.
When it's outlets, bloody Aubameyang is not really going to do very much, is he?
No.
Yeah. I mean, we used to think that was going to help, right? He put somebody on the side of Tierney, then it helps them out. Even Aubameyang can't get helped by Tierney on his side. I mean, that's just, right. That's to tell you how bad it is. Is it my turn? Sorry.
It's your turn. Yeah.
I'm giving him a 5, and it's more we've all said good things. I think the 5 is also because of he gave us 45 minutes, and when we didn't have him for 45 minutes, we saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We basically were leaky on both sides of the field at that point, and they could pick and choose what they wanted to do, and we can't handle that. So yeah, 5.
Okay, now the interesting one, Dennis Ceballos. He always take this one. I think I'll give this one. I think I'll give this one to Melvin first. He puts his hand up.
2. Enough said. 2. Don't let me go into it, please.
That's been very generous, in my opinion.
It is being generous. I'm a generous guy.
2. Gary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give him a 1.75 because I can't give him a 1 because he's got his shoes on right.
And we
His
don't know
socks were
that.
I think he got his shoes on right. So
He
that's
hasn't got laces. He's got those Velcro ones, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's proven that he doesn't want to come back. I guess if he doesn't, maybe he's in that Torreira boat. He just doesn't like England anymore, and he really wants to go back home. So yeah, he's got to. I mean, he's signed his ticket, right? He's definitely. I don't think there's any reason why we're going to keep him, right? So
No real loss, really. Let's be honest.
So yeah.
That's
Well, I'll give him a 2 because he was totally anonymous, man. I don't even think he touched ball in the first half. If he did, I don't remember him actually having any influence whatsoever. I mean, we'll get on to Party in a bit anyway, but he didn't offer him anything. He didn't give him any help. He didn't make himself open or anything like that. And it was just, I mean, Ceballos, about 4 or 5 games ago, we were like thinking, oh yeah, this is the player we want because he was actually doing stuff, wasn't he? He was actually, he's contributing, transitioning the ball. He was actually giving Party or Xhaka the ball, and then he was actually making some nice touches. But yesterday, he was just bloody awful. He did nothing. That's probably. Well, he's had quite a few bad games, but yeah, he was just totally anonymous for me, and I hope he doesn't come back next season.
That's what. You've all been very generous. I'm giving him a big fat 0. I'm sorry, but because
I'm giving him a 2 because we actually saw him on the pitch. Like he was on time. He turned up.
He turned up on time. He put his boots on. That's enough for 2.
He put his name was correct on his test sheet, so he gets a point there, and he answered all the questions. He answered all the questions as well. He just didn't get any right.
Yeah, big up the Red Cannon as well. He's just joined us in the chat, but yeah, for me the 0 because he actually
bloody awful.
Didn't even when he went off. I didn't even notice. I didn't know he was still on the pitch.
I didn't even know he was at the first half. I really didn't. I didn't even know he was on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, if you remember any balls that seemed to be intercepted by us, or we had possession and we lost it, more than likely he was the one at the end after we lost it. So he did have some touches, but they ended up going right back to Liverpool. So it was not good.
That's why he gets the lowest mark because literally he's just done my head in. Didn't see him touch the ball at all, and that's why I'm saying when he came off, the board went up and number 8. Like, is he still on? Did he actually play? Did he just turn up and go, "Oh, whistle's gone, so I'm going to walk off now"? For how long it was until the fucking board went up, and he goes, "Oh, hi, I'm here." So no,
it was the only reason I knew he was on because he was getting substituted.
Yeah, literally.
So his number.
Oh my days!
Crap.
Yeah, just thank fuck we ain't buying him. If we buy him, I'm going mental.
He's had 2 seasons, and I think he's had about 5 games. He's been decent.
Out of how many games as well?
Yeah.
Partey, Thomas Partey. How are we going to do this one? I'm going to go. Go on. Go on.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 5, and it's mostly it's again because of his environment. He's kind of surrounded by a lot of basically a lot of just not good play around him. I mean, I know it's going to come back to him, but I know that Xhaka and him play well together, better for sure. So we saw that. I mean, as much as I don't want Xhaka on the team or on the field, we don't have anybody else, which is terrible, right? We just don't have anybody else, and we saw that. I mean, Ceballos gives us 1 out of 5 games that we are worth it, El Neni gives us 5s or 6s or whatever he gives us, but his level is just not right there for us. Partey, I think him and Erdegaard have they definitely have a connection there. We just didn't get to see enough of it yesterday to make a difference in the game. I mean, I don't think they had an opportunity to influence the game, and that's kind of why it looked as bad as it did. It's just everything around him was just really bad, really poor, really poor. Partey, he under pressure with the ball with 20,000 people around him, it doesn't matter. He's going to be able to control the ball and move it forward, get it out of there with no issues. I feel he can't. I don't know if he's that type of player that can just take over from the middle by himself. So. And we needed it yesterday. We didn't get it. So there you go. So maybe he's not that type of player, but he definitely needs better support around him. Erdegaard in front of him is perfect. I think they kind of squeezed that out of there and made sure we didn't have that as a and he didn't have that as an exit strategy. So Partey gets a 5 for me.
Big up, Sam.
Oh God. Yeah, give him time.
Oh dear.
Warm my t-shirt, quick.
Melvin, what's your rating for Partey?
Yeah, I mean, he's got class. You can see the class is there. He had a poor game yesterday. And I thought where he's normally good, his passing was poor. Even the little 5-yarders were poor yesterday. He kept giving it to them. Not under pressure. We had a bit of space. So I'm giving him a 5 as well.
Yeah. Russ?
I'll be a little bit more kind because I'm all kind and loving and giving. I'll give him a 6 because he was basically a one-man midfield, and you can't. I felt really sorry for him. I mean, Ceballos just really let him down yesterday, and he did make quite a few interceptions, and his dribbling's reasonably good. Partey, I mean, I think there was one passage of play he got past like 2-3 Liverpool players. So he's got it in him, but if you can't just. That's why Xhaka is very important, because at least he offers something to Partey, which Bios doesn't. And just for that, I'll just give him a 6 because he was on his own yesterday and he had no help. And I just felt that he tried his best, and unfortunately, as Gary said, everyone around him was lacking.
I mean, Sam in the chat is also saying Partey looks like he still isn't 100%, which is why I say he's been poorly mismanaged, because obviously going back to that Wolves game, we keep going back to that Wolves home game when he said he's out for the till January, and then a week later we saw him, and that's not helped Partey at all in terms of his fitness. And I think I sort of agree with what Sam says. He does need that summer and pre-season to sort of properly settle in, get some more game time under his belt, and just kick on for next season. If we're still seeing this starting next season, then we've got a cause of concern.
He'll be in full form, ready to go to the AFCON, right?
Yeah, just as the World Cup ends, the AFCON. Who thought all that? African teams are going to be at the World Cup, by the way, and then any of them teams that qualify for the World Cup are then got to go. We're out now. Okay, prepare for the AFCON in literally a couple of days' time. Fucking brains. Make your mind up. Is it summer? You're making it a summer tournament or a winter tournament? I'd rather summer because it doesn't interfere with anyone.
Well, they should just play the AFCON the same time as the Euros, really, shouldn't they?
Well, they did for a couple of years for the last one, and then because of COVID has come around, oh no, we've got to pick back to the winter. Why? You've got a World Cup in the month still. Literally, the World Cup is literally between November and December time. This literally next year. And then literally straight after that, you're then saying, okay, January till mid-February, the African teams have got to do the AFCON now. So them players themselves are going to be shattered with all the travelling they've got to do. And we're still going to be in this situation, so there's going to be all the bloody quarantine and all that crap that's got to deal with as well. So most of our players, we ain't going to have most of our players next season, basically. So if we get any injuries, we're fucked, basically. So this summer, no matter who's in charge, is going to be huge.
Well, Liverpool will have a problem, won't they? Because they won't have Mane or Salah, will they?
Nope.
Or will they, if they qualify? Don't know.
They've qualified. I think they've qualified because we've got no Partey, no Aubameyang if he's still with us, and no El Nene if he's still with us.
Well, it's important that we then utilize our youth, then, right? Because a lot of them aren't going to be on any of these national teams, except for So
Yeah,
we should that should help us out a little bit if we can do that, right?
Yeah, for me, I'll give Partey 5.5, just because obviously he was, as Russ said, he was left out on his own to do everything basically, and it was bang out of order. And the one's just coming back to being bottom back in. It was bang out of order, and literally to leave it as long as Arteta did to bring Elneny on. But also, what done me with Arteta was, make that sub because that's the right sub to make. But also, why not do 2 subs at a time? Why should it be 1 sub at a time? Maybe it's spread out. We'll get onto Arteta in a minute, but that just does my head in. Why can't you just make multiple? So he could have put Martinelli on at the same time for Aubameyang, give Martinelli 25-30 minutes of being out on the pitch. He could have had more influence on the game. He could have got back into the game and got something out of it. We don't know. Warren is just on. So I'll go to Warren quickly first for his Partey rating, and we're going to move on to the attack.
I think Partey's not fit. I don't think he's going to. He can't do more than 60 minutes. I've got to say, yesterday they got swamped in midfield. They got absolutely battered by Fabinho. Fabinho outplayed the 2 of them on his own. So for that, I can't give Partey more than a 4. I'm sorry.
Atletico gone 1-0 down against Sevilla. 69th minute, 20 minutes to go.
It's because they don't have Partey. That's why. That's for you, Brownie. That's for you.
So that's not looking good, considering they're only a few points ahead of Real Madrid and Barcelona this weekend, and I think they've both won. So literally, it's going to be a couple of points in it now. So Atletico Madrid have bottling the fucking La Liga. They've walked up. They've literally done what they've done this season, and they're going to throw it away. Of course,
doing the Newcastle.
Yeah.
Well, if you're old enough to know, you know. But now it's the attack.
I love it if we beat Real Madrid. I really love it.
I love it. And then we've got now our attack, our forward 3 of Pepe, Laka, and Uber. We're going to keep Uber till last, but we'll go with Pepe first. We'll go with Russ for this one.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you? He needs more time, doesn't he? That was for Sam. He wasn't his greatest game, and as you all know, I'm his biggest fan. Massive fanboy. He did pretty much fuck all, really. Like the rest of the attacking line that we had.
No difference.
But the thing is, you can't really blame him. He didn't get the ball from Chambers or any of the other sort of midfielders, so he was fairly isolated. As regards to Aubameyang, really, both the same. They were isolated. They didn't get the ball. They didn't have anything to do. The thing is with Pepe, when he does get the ball, he tends to lose it quite quickly, which is a real concern, because when he was at his old club, he used to sort of take on 3-4 players and sort of score amazing goals. But we haven't seen any of that at Arsenal, and unfortunately, I don't think we ever will. So I'm going to give him a 4.
Well, I was just going back over the goal. There was a handball in the build-up from a Sevilla player, and VAR didn't look at it. But the goal has been rewarded, so that's going to be interesting in Spain now. Melvin, what's your rating for Pepe?
Pepe, poor game. 4. He started off in the first few minutes. He rode a couple of tackles. I thought, he's up for it today. Gave a nice ball out to the left, and then after that, it was like the ball was like soaked to him, wasn't it, on his feet? He just went everywhere. No, 4 for me, no more than 4.
Gary?
Yeah, I'm the mean one on the panel, I guess. He gets a 3 for me. I mean, like Russ said, I mean, his control of the ball is just terrible. Terrible. I mean, he started the counter attack, I think, where they got one of their shots in the first half. He just didn't have where he gets past a guy and then doesn't remember that the guy's chasing him down, and then steps over the ball, and then the offensive player comes, picks the ball up, and goes back the other way. I mean, so it's just he just just bad, this is the Pepe we're going to get. Either we're going to get a good one, and we got a bad one. I don't think he has it in him. to overcome any of the negativity going around him. So, yeah, 3 for me.
Yeah, Warren.
Oh, for me, he's like Paolo One Shot used to be for all legs. He's like a spider. He can trap a ball further than I can kick it. And he honestly, it's like watching Bambi on ice. You just don't know where you get it. It's 4 at best. I will take issue with Gary because I was listening while I was eating. Gary gave Holding a 2. I don't understand why he's marking him so high.
Oh dear, that's sheer pity, I believe.
Pepe, 4 at best.
I'm gonna have to say, agree with you guys and say 4, nothing more, nothing less, because again, they weren't getting a supply either, like Russ says, from the attack because there's nothing, and that concerns me. Sorry, but it does. Martin Odegaard now. We'll start off with Warren for this one.
He put himself about rather like Lacazette did, but he had no real support. And again, they got swamped. If you give him time and space to be able to play, it's absolutely fine. But every time he had the ball, he was absolutely shut down, and Liverpool did a fabulous job of doing that. But again, we didn't get far enough up the pitch really to give him anything that he could work with. So you can say, really, really poor, but I've got to give him 5 because he didn't really have a chance, if you know what I mean. He's a good player and he's got real ability, but we've got to find him some space. And not having Smith Rowe there to carry the ball past Liverpool players. I thought Liverpool's midfield absolutely dominated ours, so 5 at best.
Gary.
Yeah, actually, I'm giving him a 6. I think I like the way he played. I mean, like I said, that combination with Partey is really nice. I mean, he didn't get much service, but when he did, I felt like he gave us something. But he just, when you're surrounded by the other team, he just looked around with blue shirts pretty much everywhere. I mean, if you look at parts of the game, it looked like they had 18 players on the field, 6 around the ball at all times. And we just are. I think Sam said it before. Our spacing is just so sad and terrible that we never present ourselves to the ball. So if you have the ball, you're basically stuck unless you can get out. I mean, Tierney can get out by himself. Partey can get out by himself. Odegaard can get out by himself, but he's not going forward because that's where the team's just setting up for. So kind of got to go back. So yeah, I mean, Odegaard, I gave him a 6. He was kind of my man of the match. I do agree that Gabriel probably would have been if he was able to control one of those opportunities, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, that was. The scary part is I don't know if he'll come back. I mean, if you're his agent, do you tell him to stay with Arsenal and see this thing through?
Well, Steve made a really good thing in the chat where he said that Klopp was having an extensive word with Odegaard at the end of the match, and he was.
Yeah, that's the scary part, right? It's like, he said, I got a spot for you.
Come and join me.
Come to real winners.
Liverpool's not as great a place to live in, but yeah. You win things.
Controversial.
Now, don't upset people with Liverpool.
No, I'm sure Odegaard's Hertfordshire mansion he's renting's lovely.
Melvin, what about yourself as you sink into the sofa?
It's like that advert.
I'm giving him a 6. He was, not that it was very hard, but he was my Arsenal man of the match. He was the only one that showed any real, of the 3 people that started, the only one who showed any energy, any willingness to get into the other half, any willingness to try something. So he wasn't very successful because, he couldn't do it by himself, but I think 6. 6, yeah, give him 6.
Russ?
5 for me, mate. I think he just got completely shut down by Fabinho and the rest of the Liverpool team because they were just more energetic. They just closed us down completely. We couldn't even. I don't even remember us getting out of our half pretty much in the first half. I felt, the same with the rest of the forward line. Very isolated, had some nice touches, couldn't influence the game as much as he'd like, but wasn't great, but he wasn't bad either. 5 straight down the middle.
Yeah, I'm going to slide to just because he's off the ball gameplay. He tried and was being, as Sam says, he was being shut out by Thiago and Fabinho, but he still tried. I'm giving him a 6, but nothing more than that, because again, nothing. You can't really say any higher than that, really. With his performance yesterday, and that goes for all of them as well. I mean, when we move on, Brownie's put a comment in the chat, and the thing is, I'm going to take this with a pinch of salt, really. No disrespect. This is you are the person that said Partey was never going to happen. You were hell-bent that was never happening, no matter what. And that actually, Elwar was the player we were going to sign on the last day of the season. It was all done and dusted. So I'm going to take, with all due respect, I'll take this with a pinch of salt at the moment until obviously proven otherwise. If you prove to be right, we'll come back and talk about it then. But yeah, as Sam says in the chat, that's like the hour going to Arsenal. Oh dear!
He's got his tomato sauce out.
Yeah, but his tomato sauce. God, give me strength. But now it could be interesting. The last two from the 11, starting 11 anyway, is Lacazette first. We're going to start with Russ for this one.
Oh yeah, lovely, lucky me. I thought, he wasn't too bad, was he? He battled hard, but he was isolated again. That's just the word of the day, pretty much for all of the front line. They were just isolated. He got a few. He got tackled a few bit, didn't he? He got clobbered, didn't he? He got bleeding from his eye and everything else. So he was in the wars a fair bit. But it's just he doesn't score enough goals, does he? That's the thing. And he didn't even look like scoring yesterday. That was the worst thing. I know the supply was non-existent, but I don't think he even had a shot on goal. And he's playing up front. He's your striker, and he's. I'll give him a 5. Same again. Just not bad, not great. As I say, he battled, but he just didn't have any effect on the game. So 5.
Melvin,
I'll give him a 4. I feel ineffective. That may not be his own fault, but a couple of times when he did get the ball facing the correct way, he gave hospital balls to a couple of our players on a few occasions. Not happy about that. He was very poor on some of his passing, easy passes. I'm not talking about through an eye of a needle, square passes that weren't hit quite hard enough. And I think that's laziness on his behalf. I know he does a lot of running, but it seemed with the passing, it seemed to me he's done this before, a bit lazy. So he gets a 4 from me, no more.
And Gary.
Yeah, I'll give him a 4. I mean, if you look at the average position, he was behind Erdiger. I don't know how our striker is going to get the
that
ball.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
If he's behind him, I mean, it doesn't help when our striker isn't there and you're trying to move the ball forward out of your own half. I mean, I think we spent, I don't know, probably it seemed like 70-80% of the time on our half of the field, and that's in possession sometimes. So we never could get it forward. I mean, he had a 4, and he, like you said, no influence on the game, and partly is that to do with the rest of the team? Yes, but also, I mean,
the problem is because he doesn't get service, he drops deep. That's why. Do you give him points for trying to get involved, or
but he doesn't even get to the ball? And when he does, he gives it right back.
Oh, I'm up here. Hello. I'm not getting the ball, but at least he drops back to get the ball to try to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? But if he's behind Erdegaard for most of his heat map, then that tells you something, doesn't it? It just tells you how isolated the whole front line were.
I mean, also he gets a negative because he should have stayed down with that when he took the elbow to the head. I mean, why would you? Why are you coming off the pitch so you can go down a man? Just lay down on the ground, rolling, whatever you have to do. They'll come out, they'll clean you up, take you off, and then we'll go.
But then there wasn't even a yellow either, because even that it's contact. It's clearly there was contact. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Conspiracies.
Yes, Sam, get Sam on for 5 minutes. We'll have a chat.
Warren, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to clear up Russ's point first of all on the old conspiracies there. First of all, when you watch it back, you know, and it's horrible at Lacazette, but it's just one of those collision injuries that happens. It's not really a yellow. I wouldn't have given a yellow in that. It's just one of those unfortunate things where you get a tangle of legs, a tangle of arms, players go down, and he accidentally gets cut as well. For me in the game, I never rated Kabak until I saw him play against Lacazette yesterday. And when Lacazette dropped deep, he just followed him, bullied him, knocked him off the ball, which you don't see that happen too often at Lacazette because he's normally strong enough to hold it up. But he got absolutely bullied by Kabak yesterday. And when he did drop too deep and Kabak didn't follow him in there, then Fabinho and Thiago were all over him. He tried, bless him. You know, as Russ said, he'll drop deep and try to get involved, but he couldn't hold the ball up. You know, it just kept coming back, and it was attackers versus defenders. So I can't give him any more than a 4, I'm afraid. You've got to hold it up and give people time to get up to support you.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 5 as well because it was just an average score. I can't really say anything more than what you guys already said. It's just. Yeah, and it all goes back to, we'll go get into a minute of Aubameyang. Them playing in the same 11 doesn't work anymore. It worked for one season, that's it, we move on. It looks like they had, and now fucking Arteta's gone back into his ways of, no, they've got to play together now to keep one of them happy. It's like, no, if he's not good enough, if he ain't playing to the standard he should be as a captain, bench he goes. Because, as we touched on earlier, with Lacazette, when he was playing from Boxing Day alongside Saka, Smith Rowe and Martinelli and all that, it was working, and he thrived off it himself. He came out and said, I was thriving off it because it worked. It's just the vibrance of the youthfulness of the team itself, it all just worked, and it benefited him in his game. So why change a winning formula? I don't know, but hey, we'll get on to that in a minute. But here's a fun one now. Club captain, apparently. Our leader, apparently. Aubameyang. We're going to go with Warren for this one first.
Right, well, first of all, he's not my club captain because he can't turn up to a bloody game on time. So, as far as I'm concerned, goody armband to Tierney. He's on a lot of money. I expect a lot more from him. I do have a tiny bit of sympathy for him in that he's being played in that position there. And before, when they had players in that position, and when Aubameyang would come inside and run off Lacazette, that's not happening this season. He's been told to stay wide and left. When they do play as a 2, the only way it works is if Lacazette comes to the ball, flicks it round the corner, and Aubameyang can get onto it, and you get Saka going down the side. Playing Aubameyang in that role in the way that Arteta has now set out that he wants to play, he's a fish out of water. He's not enjoying his football. He didn't put in a shift. I mean, honestly, if he'd put and the hairdo for me. You know what I mean? I was going to give him a 3. I was going to give him a 3, but I'm going to go and get a 2. You can go and get stupid hairdos like that when you're performing every week. You know, if you're not performing every week and you're playing like an absolute clown, then when you go and get your hair done like that, you just look even more of a clown. So no, I'm getting more annoyed the more I'm talking about it. So I'm going to grade him down to a 1. Played like it was an absolute bell end yesterday.
I'm going to get my hair done like his.
Rant over.
I'm going to get my rating in 0. Absolutely, it just does nothing. It doesn't want to be. The body language and everything about him, it concerns me beyond belief. And when he's starting ahead of the likes of Martinelli, apparently doing everything right in training and this, that, and the other, that's concerning for me that he's still getting ahead of these players. And he's getting shoehorned in to keep him happy because if you don't play him, apparently, he has a hissy fit. Well, tough shit. Turn up, put performances in, be in form. There won't be an issue. You will play. But when you're not, club captain or not, you're going to get dropped.
So that's the thing with having a novice manager, isn't it? he obviously doesn't have the, or he
Cojones.
doesn't think he has, balls to be able to drop his captain. Which let's not beat around the bush. Your captain should play every game, shouldn't he, when he's available? But obviously, Aubameyang's just not informed. He hasn't been informed at all this season. He's got to be dropped. He has to be.
And every time with Arteta, not Arteta, with Aubameyang, whenever he does show he does hit his form suddenly in a game or two, he then drops off again. It's just dissipates again. It's just like, how consistent can you be inconsistent this season?
That's Arsenal all over, mate. About that.
Yeah, don't. Gary, what was your rating for our fearless leader?
Yeah, you guys. I don't know. I think I'm the meanie today. I mean, Pepe got a 3. I don't know how Aubameyang gets higher. I mean, I was gonna give him a 2, and then I heard Warren go off on him, so I was like, all right, maybe I'll give him a 3 because I felt sorry. But then, like I've said, no, maybe 2.5. So it's not that bad. So I improved the score from my original. I mean, he's the captain, so he's got to show. Right, he's got to actually show us something. It doesn't matter where he is on the field, right? We saw Henderson play everywhere on the field for Liverpool. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. He still gives 100%, and the team follows his lead, right? So that's what a captain does. And we're not even asking for him to talk after the games. We're asking him to perform on the field. So, whatever makes you happy when you fly away to go play for your homeland should make you happy when you play for Arsenal somehow. You got to figure that out, or else why are you playing, right? He's had a lot of fun with us over the last number of years. Him smiling is a good thing when, it definitely shows in his play. We're not even seeing that now, right? So, yeah, he's supposed to be a captain. He's got to figure these things out along with the manager. He's definitely not on the left wing for me ever. Holding never plays. Aubameyang on the left, never. No. If that means Lacazette has to sit, then he has to sit. But no, I mean, even Lacazette probably should play over him. So we're the way we are right now. So yeah, he gets a 2.5. He needs to sit. And I understand captains should play, but this isn't that type of captain.
No. Melvin, what about yourself?
I think he gets a 1 from me. I mean, apart from anything else, didn't know he was on the pitch. He didn't give anything. He didn't show any energy. And also, he was slightly at fault for the first goal. When the fabulous cross came in, he was a couple of yards away from the guy. And by the time the guy crossed it, Trent Arnold, he was like 5 yards away. He didn't go towards him. He went away from him for some reason. Beautiful cross, don't get me wrong. But you never know. If you try and get closer to a player, it might just put them off, or the ball might hit you and go off for whatever. So for me, he's got just the whole body language, the whole attitude, the whole energy, the whole heart. He gets a 1.
And Russ.
Did he do his interview after the match? Because that
Don't be silly, we lost.
It's a 1 then. I honestly didn't know, because he was going to get an extra point if he actually fronted up after, but clearly he didn't. So yeah, anonymous. I can't make any excuse for him. He was isolated. That's the only one I can. He didn't get any help. Obviously, when Tierney went off, he had Cedric come on. There was absolutely nothing between the two of them. The midfield passed them by. He didn't do anything. And as Gary was saying, obviously, like Liverpool have a captain like Henderson who plays in every position asked of him. When he's not playing, they've got James Milner, who is exactly the same mould. He'll play in every position you tell him to. So, yeah, Aubameyang's just,
but you know what? Then
get rid of him in the summer.
Yeah, Aubameyang is old, right? Milner's 35. Got 2 shots in the game. How's that happen? He got 2 shots in the game. Arsenal got 3.
Yeah.
And he's 35.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter the team around him. He's still 35 and got 2 shots off. One that he probably feels bad that he didn't even put it between the sticks. But yeah.
It's
Age is a number, and it's all
we can't
mental.
even have a captain that can actually just sort of do anything. It's just I just get fed up.
Good old.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him in the summer. Get rid of him.
Now we're going to go on to the subs before we get to the managers. Cedric first. We'll go with Russ for this one.
He's not a left back. All 3 goals came from down that side. It's worrying. I don't blame him. He's, as I said, he's not a left back. So, he was just a fish out of water, unfortunately. And we got punished for it, basically. Just give him a 3. I know that sounds really harsh, but I can't give him any more than that, unfortunately.
Melvin?
I'll give him a 4. I thought going forward he showed just a little bit, not a lot, but defensively I thought he was poor yesterday. Though he had it, he was, he had no one with him. No one had any. And no player had someone with him. Every player was isolated yesterday. All 10 of them on the pitch seemed to be isolated. I'll give him a 4.
Gary?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm okay giving him a 4. I mean, he's playing at his weaker side, right? In a game where they were just itching to go down that side, and finally they had a break, right? You pull, your best wing back or full back out, and then they're basically going to jump on the next person that shows up, and it was Cedric. So I think he was in a bad spot at that point in the game. He wasn't going to be able to slow them down, I don't think. They saw the blood in the water, and they took advantage of it. So if he started the game, maybe things would be different. But I think at that point, they kind of, like I said, blood in the water.
Warren?
Yeah, I can't really say any more. I mean, Gary summed it up eloquently there. It was like feeding the sharks, wasn't it? Basically, we were already under the cosh when he got thrown on, and they just, I didn't even realise he was there most of the time. I can't give him any more than a 4. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's tried to go forward, but it just wasn't working. The whole thing was shambles yesterday, and he was no better, no worse than anybody else. So 4.
Yeah, I'm going to say a 4 as well, just because, all the goals came from inside weren't his fault. He's out of position. He didn't get time to warm up either, really. Literally, it just happened, and he was just like, off on you go. Like, okay. Who's next? El Neni. We'll go with Warren for this one. Go the other way around. El Neni.
Yeah. Again, when he got on, I didn't see anything there that was going to alleviate the situation or grab the game by a scruff of a neck. I get tired of seeing players come on who just don't look as though they can make any impact whatsoever, and that's the trouble with what we have on the bench. We either leave it too late, which we'll get onto that in a while. We either leave it too late, or the players that we're bringing on are going to have no effect on the game, and that's a poor situation to be in. Again, no worse, no better than anybody else. 4.
Fucking my throat. Gary.
Yeah. El Neni, basically, 6 minutes after he came on, the Liverpool put Jota on, which I don't know if that was planned. I have a feeling if El Neni didn't come off, I don't know if Jota would come on that soon, but I have a feeling it was probably like, you know what? Wow. Okay, Jota, get ready. I think we got a spot here to maybe get something out of this game right now.
Yeah. Different level.
Yeah, I mean it just, and if you listen to the commentators, they're like, Jota being out should be a plus for Arsenal, right? That should be a positive for us, right? Yeah. He's coming in a little iffy, right? Because of I guess the games he's played in the international break. I mean, maybe Arteta should have done that to Tierney. Tierney, how many times has one of our players gone out? This is the second time in a row this happened. Saka went out, had 3 good games for England, comes back, and you're like, maybe he needs to get some rest. He doesn't get any rest, and he puts himself in a situation, gets injured, gets pulled out. second time in a row, second international break. I don't know. People aren't learning. We aren't that deep. We need to, so El Neni, I'm going to give him a 4. I mean, that's the best he can do. I mean, there's not much to judge him on, but yeah, he like you said, we're trying to when he comes on, it's a 0-0 game. It's a draw, and he's not going to hold on to that draw, right?
No.
Unless he's going to hold on to a win, if we have the lead, but he's not going to hold on to a game where the other team, still has Jota, right, on the bench. This is like, Leicester City still has Vardy sitting there on the bench, and it's still a draw. So guess what they do? We've got Martinelli on the bench who can give us something more, something different, and we don't put him on. We don't give him an opportunity to get into the game. So it's a different philosophy. I don't like the philosophy because it doesn't work. Just but yeah, it's 4 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'll give my rating. I've got to agree 4. Comes on 0-0. Not his fault we went last 3-0, but yeah, it has no impact really. I'm being very generous with a 4, but it is what it is. Melvin.
I've got to agree 4, bit anonymous when he came on. Didn't do anything wrong, didn't do anything at all. 4 for me.
And Russ?
Well, at least I knew he was on the pitch, probably. All right, I know Ceballos was anonymous, but it's probably, yeah. But the only thing is probably because El Neni's, I'm drawn to his hair, you see, so that's probably why I noticed him. Yeah.
What a comment at the moment with your hair.
Yeah. Yeah, if I take my hat off, I got El Neni's hair. A 4 because it wasn't, as I say, you guys have said it wasn't his fault we lost 3-0, but he was just thrown in. He wasn't going to do anything. In hindsight, would you have started him instead of Ceballos? I probably would.
Yeah,
but
Melvin said this as well before the game kicked off.
Just give him a 4. He didn't do anything when he came on, really, did he? Apart from lose us a game.
It's always thought, the bastard. Oh dear, the last one. This will be an interesting one actually. Didn't have a lot of time, but Martinelli. You could argue that only player that actually gave a shit. We're going to start with Russ for this one.
It's hard, isn't it? Because he didn't really have a lot of time. He didn't really have a lot of touches. You can see he tried. You see the effort, but obviously he's fresh. He's only on for about 5-10 minutes max. He did more than Aubameyang did, so I'll give him a 5.
Okay, Melvin.
I'll give him a 4. I can't give him much more than that on the basis he's only on for a few minutes. Didn't touch the ball much, obviously. I felt sorry for him. Fancy coming on 3-0 down with 10, 15 minutes to go. Sorry. That's not the way you handle players. I mean, he's a kid. He needs to be handled a bit better than that, in my opinion. Poorly handled.
And just before we move on, this is a criticism that Wenger got when we lost 8-2 to Man United that time at Old Trafford. All the youngsters, Carl Jenkinson just came for us that summer. Carl Jenkinson, Chamberlain, he played all these youngsters in that sort of game. No experience really in that team, apart from Van Persie and Walcott. And look what happened. We all fell apart. He was just before he mismanaged it. What was it? No. Chamberlain off the bench when it was like 7-2. And everyone's like, why are you doing that? What benefit does that? How does that benefit Oxlade Chamberlain's development at his new club? Coming on 7-2 down when the game's dead and buried and things like that. And Wenger, that was the first time Wenger actually got criticised for himself. So Paul Merson actually laid into him. I remember watching it, and he laid into Wenger. And he said, the Wiggins of this world and all that will come to Old Trafford and put a bit more fight up and all that. And they obviously did. And that was the start of that. But I think now. Oh dear, Gary. It's all voting.
Yeah, no, Martinelli. He, the one thing that he does give us is energy, and he's been giving that to us all the time. And I think Arteta needs to try to figure out how to control it in the sense that he can get the best out of it without getting his player killed out there, because he just uses so much energy out there on the pitch. As soon as he comes out, he's just ready to go. You saw it as soon as he got out there. From the left-hand side, what happened is a player in red actually attacking their back line, What
Really?
wait, they can do that?
You're allowed.
So that's what you saw. You gotta get
Unheard
that.
of.
So that's what you get from him. So I just wow, if he's saving him, I don't know what it's for, because I don't know what he's for. We need to usually play him. So I give him a 5 actually, because he did show us something. When he comes on, every time he shows us something. I know I saw a couple of tweets here. I don't know if you guys want to listen to both of them, but one is for Martin Odegaard. He could win the Copa del Rey, the Champions League, La Liga, and the Europa Cup League this season based on all the teams he's played with.
Oh, imagine that. Oh,
that's crazy, right? And the team with the least likely chance of winning anything is the team he's probably supposed to he might go to, because that's the team that really, really, really wants him. So yeah. So, that's crazy, right? So I mean, that player is going to decide on Arsenal, right? When he's winning Champions League and La Ligas and stuff with all the other teams he's playing with. But Arsenal's. I want him to come, but I just got to be realistic about this. What What do we got to offer him something more?
Warren.
I'm giving Martinelli 6, and I'll tell you why I'm giving him 6. Every time I see him, probably a point of that is for him being mucked about so much. When he comes on the pitch, he ran around like a blue-arse fly, trying to close everybody down, trying to get hold of the ball. He showed more effort than Aubameyang did in the whole game. And frankly, to bring him on when you're 3-0 down against that team with 13 minutes to go, what does he expect the kid to do? That's absolutely shite management by Arteta. And Martinelli, God bless him, he must feel, I don't know what he must feel, but I wouldn't feel happy. And he's out there and he's been thrown on the pitch, and rather than do what some people do, and we've all seen them who are on big wages and they don't do anything and they don't give a toss, he went out there and tried his heart out. And for that alone, I'm going to give him a 6, because that must be so hard with the way he's being treated by this manager.
To be honest, I was going to give him a 6 as well, based on that, and the fact that, literally, as he said, he came on, not just put more effort in than Aubameyang. He put more effort in than the entire rest of the teammates that they put in their respective time frames. He vanity defence. He was causing problems, ironically, for the defence. Whenever they had the ball, he had the ball. He was causing problems. And like he said, he's been purely mismanaged. Like we've said for all seasons about Arteta, his man management, or his management in general, is piss poor. And it's just goes to show. I mean, you don't bring anyone on in an attacking sense at 3-0 down and go, off you go, do what you got to do. He probably got fined. Knowing the way we played last night, he probably got fined for trying to attack and try and score. So yeah, 6 for me. And now we're going to get on to Arteta. We're going to go Warren around first. We'll let Melvin a bit of time to come back. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Right.
So Arteta for Warren.
I'm going through this, and bear with me because I'm sick to the back teeth of this guy. I'm going to go through it. Leno, Runnison, Bellerin, Holding, Luiz, Ceballos, El Neni, Xhaka, Willian, Oba, Pepe, Nelson, and Nketiah, Maitland, and Kolasinac. 241 appearances. Ryan, Gabriel, Cedric, Chambers, Murray, Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Partey, ESR, Balogun, Lacazette, Martinelli, Mavropanos, Willock, Guendouzi, Tierney, 152 appearances. So the best players in the teams who don't consistently muck up are getting more starts and more game time than anybody else. He does, as Sam said it, Sam Greenwood said it in the chat, his substitutions are by numbers. You know when Willian, the only massive shock to me yesterday was Willian not coming on in the 62nd minute. You know, and people say he hasn't had money. People say he hasn't had money. He's had a gross spend of 275 million. So we've had 110 million recouped on that. He spent 151 million pounds on wages and other players this season. And exactly what his game plan is, I don't have the first flaming idea. He's alienated half of the youngsters, and he's totally. I mean, why on earth would you give 51 million to Louise and Willian? You're giving 27 million to Willian, who goes for a walk on the fucking park for 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because he doesn't chug it. He has a jog. He's on a training run. You never see him actually tackle anybody. Bloke couldn't tackle a fish supper. It's absolutely disgusting to watch him play. And when you think of the money he's spent, and 18 months, I wouldn't give him another 8 minutes. Get him out the fucking door. Rant over.
Yeah. I mean, Valley's put a comment in the chat once that I'm trying not to compare. He says, I'm trying not to compare, but Alex Ferguson's first 4 seasons were 11th, 2nd, 13th, 12th before anything happened. Different times. I get what you're saying about it, but it's different times. Football isn't like that anymore. We can't have that anymore because the multi-millionaires of Chelsea and Man City here in England anyway. Then you got PSG. Then you got fucking any and everywhere else. Basically, it's just run by multi-billionaires that actually give a shit and just want to ruin football. Whereas back then, that was not acceptable because let's be honest. After the first few seasons, he was on the verge of being booted. It's the FA Cup run that actually saved his ass.
It was only the Mark Robbins goal that saved him.
Yeah. Ferguson had done wonders of Aberdeen. Yeah, and that's the thing. Ferguson as well. He had done wonders of Aberdeen. He'd won European titles over there as well. George Graham's first few seasons were average. Yeah, George Graham came in I'm trying to think now. 86, 87. By 87, he'd won the League Cup against Liverpool in the final. Went 1-0 down with what's his name?
Ian Rush
scoring, that's it. Ian Rush scoring. We came from 1-0 down with him scoring, and back then, if he scored, they'd win. But he came. That was his second. 87 was his second season. And was it? I think now he came in 86. So it must have been But either way, he's at his second year basically, and 2 years late. Fast forward 2 years later, then we're winning the league title because he built things. Again, it's different times then. But he had an idea in mind, and if you didn't bend the knee, basically, you weren't liking it, he'd help you out the door. He'd help you. He'd go, okay, no problem. We'll get you somewhere else. But he entrusted the youth, and also look at the players he recruited from Colchester, from 2 players from Stoke. Just for example, I mean, David Seaman from QPR. David Seaman was established or getting along the established line, but QPR. Just for an example, just throwing it out there. Perry Groves from Colchester United, sorry.
Yep.
But hey, can't say if you do that nowadays, you get frowned upon. What you're doing?
He bought 2 from Colchester actually in his first season.
Yeah, he also bought Steve Bowl and Dixon from Stoke as well.
Yeah, he bought Ian Allison.
And Winterburn from Wimbledon as well.
Yeah.
But hey,
he had 2 England fullbacks when he came here, George Graham. Got rid of both of them.
Yeah, like that. Literally in the space of 12 to 18 months.
It made sense. He brought in people that were hungry, either hungry for the youth system or hungry playing in the lower divisions who were good enough to make it.
Yeah.
That's where.
And they had a mentality of wanting to win. That's what he wanted in his entire squad. Again, if anyone Arsenal fan or not, if you haven't got it or you haven't watched it yet, do recommend getting the 89 DVD because he does explain it down to a T what his ideas were from day one. And the players that are on that DVD backed it up and said, yeah, that was the case. And even Alan Smith brought him in from was it Leicester City?
Leicester,
Imagine we've done that now.
So you
fucking ripped to pieces.
You are so lucky to get 18 months now. You are so lucky to get 18 months now. And I'm not being funny. Can somebody tell me how we're a much better team in 18 months, having spent another £151 million, How are we a better team than we were 18 months ago? We're not. End of story.
In terms of the actual players we've got compared to when Emery left or got sacked, whatever, the players we've got are better. It's just the manager hasn't got a fucking clue. He has clues and he keeps rotating.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, after nearly over 12, I'm trying to think now, nearly 18 months in charge, but coming into the season, he still doesn't know his best back line. He still doesn't know his best midfield combination. No. He still doesn't have his best attack. That's concerning. He's also, if you're not playing a consistent 11, how the hell are we meant to improve? There's a reason why we're inconsistent, while we are where we are as well. And that's one of them reasons, because he's constantly changing the fucking 11. You should know your 11 by now. Play it, stick with it. Unless there's a drop in form or an injury, then you can change it. Fair enough. But until then, we pick it, go with it, and we might just.
We've used 29 players in the Prem.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And most of them, apart from the odd injury here and there, it hasn't been necessary. If I'm being brutally honest. But it is what it is. I mean, who got left, by the way, with Arteta?
I think only one person went besides yourself.
Okay, Melvin.
Arteta, what, over the last game or the season?
No, just yesterday. We do it the whole season. We all day.
Sorry?
We do. Yeah, it's just Arteta from yesterday. He's
from yesterday. 3. He didn't. Really? I don't. You never know what team he's going to pick.
No.
But he didn't. He wasn't horses for courses. You know, they've got very small, wide men. Liverpool, and I know he's played Chambers on as right back. He's not a right back, and he would be found out. Perhaps he should have put Chambers at centre half. It might have been better instead of Holding. To play just 2 in midfield against that very, very good Liverpool midfield, I think was a mistake. Most certainly having Tobias as the number 2 to Partey and not El Neni. To be very stubborn and keep playing Aubameyang on the left, very stubborn. You've got 2 decent strikers in Aubameyang and Lacazette. Neither of them should play wide. You play either one of them. You just play one of them, and you play one of them up front, down the middle. Otherwise, you lose the balance of the whole team, which happened yesterday. So I'm giving him a 3. And you can't blame him necessarily for the mindset of the players. There's a bit of an argument going up. Do you blame the players or do you blame the manager? I say you blame both. This is my theory. If we win a cup final or play away to Man City to win the league and we win it, and the end of the game, the players go up to the away end and the manager goes to, who are the fans cheering? They're cheering the players and they're cheering the manager. Therefore, when it goes wrong, they're both culpable as well. So that's my theory. Right, I'm giving him a 3. Bang average.
Yeah. Yeah, saving yourself from doing what I just did, going on a massive tangent rant, basically. Gary, what about yourself?
I guess I've been the harsh one, right? So I'm going to stay there. I think I'm going to give. Well, you've given out a couple of zeros, right? But I'm going to give him I'm giving him a 2. Yeah. I just and it's. Okay, he puts a team sheet out there with players that are going to start, but I don't think he puts them in good positions ever.
No,
ever. Most of the time, he doesn't, especially when it's not our strongest 11. Right, our strongest 11, I think, can overcome whatever he's told them, no matter what. Even if it's good or bad. If it's bad, I think they still can overcome it because of the talent. But when we have to go to our bench. Go to our second and third players on the bench. They need better instruction. They need to be able to handle whatever he's asking them to do.
And inspiration, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, he has to figure that out. I mean, when I understand it's a little differently what he saw in City, but when they go to their bench, I bet you they all have instructions as to what to do, and they can actually do it. I don't think we're getting the same instruction where they can actually do whatever he's asking them to. So I think once the like I said, these the 2 games versus City and 2 games versus Liverpool looked fairly similar to me. We just looked outclassed, and we had opportunities to actually get something out of at least one of those, 2 of those games. I feel definitely, even if it was a draw, I think we could have done better. We just basically laid down, came in, laid down, and then got beat up, as the game went on. So yeah, a 2 for me.
Yeah, Warren, how about yourself?
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, I went off on a rant about him earlier. He doesn't inspire the players, mate. I can't say that he's done. Yesterday's baffling. The substitutions. What the hell does he expect people to do when he brings them on that late? He doesn't inspire the players of all days yesterday. You wouldn't need any more than that if the players actually give a shit about the shirt. All you had to do, you didn't even have to have a team talk. All you had to do was hold up a picture of Rocky and go for him. And that's enough. Because on the day we needed Rocky to do something against Liverpool, he did it. On the anniversary of that, for him today, do it. And you don't need another team talk if that's not inspiring enough. 1, you're wearing the wrong shirt. 2, you're certainly not, having all your game plans and everything else. You've dealt with that on the training pitch. Give them something that makes them go out there and fight for every ball. And that might well just have done it, But he probably turned around and said, "I'm wearing my lucky green socks and I've had a look at the stats and we passed the ball 72 times more than they did, so we're bound to win it," or something stupid like that. No, if I can possibly give him a minus, I'm giving him -1. He can get the fuck out of my club.
Russ?
2 for me, mate. Yeah, he's just yesterday he got it all wrong. The lineup was incorrect, as it were. I mean, obviously you can't sort of Tierney getting injured, you can't really sort of see that happening, but you probably can because he's injury prone. But basically the game changed when he went off the pitch. Shows you how much we rely on him. Obviously Xhaka, David Luiz not being available, in my opinion, I think the result might have been slightly different. Okay, we might not have won, but it might not have been a 3-0 loss to Liverpool if those two had been playing. It just doesn't inspire me. It's not inspiring at all, lads. It's we got lucky against West Ham. Let's not get any bones about it. We were 3-0 down against West Ham. We got it back to 3-0 because they scored 2 goals for us. But you would think after that, oh, all right, okay, can't we take any of that momentum into the next match? Clearly not. We're at home. We look scared. We didn't take it to them. We were camped in our own half in the first half, and it's just not the Arsenal I want to see, lads. I want to see us attack the opposition from the get-go. I don't. Right, against West Ham, obviously we were 3-0 down, but as soon as we went 3-0 down, we went bang. Right, okay, let's start again. Right, although we had like half an hour to do it, but we actually got back into that game. But we didn't even look like scoring yesterday, and it's just and it's in-game management again. The substitutions, as you said, bring Martinelli on for 5-10 minutes. What's the bloody point? You keep Aubameyang on the pitch, and all right, he did nothing, but he shouldn't be playing in the first place. So I'm losing it with him. I really am. I just this season might, as Ryan said yesterday, the season might as well be over because it might as well be. As soon as we get knocked out of the Europa League game, season's over for me.
I mean, literally, Mark was saying in the chat, obviously you can see it on the screen there. There was an incident earlier on today in La Liga with between Valencia and their opponents, and one of the players from the opposing side racially abused one of their players, and the refs obviously didn't do anything, so they decided to walk off the pitch.
Oh, the ref should have done, yeah.
Yeah, basically they walked off the pitch, refused to play, and he's now saying the Valencia captain was interviewed after the game and said that he was told if they didn't go back onto the pitch and finish the game, they'd be possibly docked more points for leaving the pitch, and they would lose the game.
That won't happen. They've just done it for the TV rights, mate. That won't happen because public opinion won't let that happen. Just a quick one on that, Ryan. What I am going to say is We're all 100% against racism, but you get that nonsense of taking the knee, which has got shades of overtones of that bloke who, Floyd, who held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. Don't make him the god. This guy who's been racially abused, let's get the guy who racially abused him, and let's make that twat famous, because that's how you should deal with racism. Find the person who's being racist, not the institution. Get something we can all fight together. Let's get this prick out in the open, and let's make him famous for the racist prick that he is. You know what I mean? With everybody's plastering his name all over the bloody internet. And I tell you what, he won't do it again. And that's how you should deal with racism. Find them, single them out, and get them out in the limelight where they can't hide away.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. For my rating is literally basically as it is, big fat 0. We lost 3-0 for fuck's sake. He don't deserve any rating. His lineup was wrong. As I said, his lineup was wrong. His tactics were fucking awful. And his subs, I mean, one of them was forced. Obviously, there's nothing he could do about it, but it was forced and whatever. But it was awful. Yeah. Apart from that, the others were. One team's making a sub that's game changing, that changes the game when it does, and we make a sub that's defends a 0-0 lead. Yay! Just the process. And like Russ says, Russ saying he's all but lost the ball with Arteta. I'm done. I'm out of the fact that he has to go for the good of the club, for the good of himself, for all things that is holy. He has to go because I don't see him improving that season. People are saying though. There's people, Arsenal fans that are still pro Arteta, saying I'll give him another season. For what? Okay, so let's give him another season. So season starts. We get a tricky start or whatever, mixed bag of a opening set of fixtures. Come mid-September, when the first 6 games are out of the way, we are saying the bottom 10. We are 15th, for example. Do we act then, or do we wait a bit longer, give him a bit more time, and then come November? We're 16th, like 2 points off relegation or whatever. Do we do it then, or do we wait a bit longer? What's the cut-off point? What is the serious cut-off point?
Yeah, it's like the nuclear deterrent, isn't it? What level is it going to be?
Again, Bruce Rioch was in charge for 1 season. We finished 5th. So that shows how bad Mikel is doing. And yeah, people say, well, he's learning on the job. He shouldn't be learning the job at Arsenal. Why is it he's got to learn here? And that does my head. It's done my head from day one. I've tried to let him give him a chance. It's not worked out. He has to go. I'm sorry. And the whole this current system that has been put in place by Raul and fucking Ivan Baldus Gazidas, fucking idiot that he is before he fucked off, has got to be scrapped. Fucking Vinay can piss off out of when he's wrong. He can stay on the board if he wants to, but he's not in the footballing role. He can stay on the board as a member of the board, whatever. But as in the vocal part of the board, that's where he's now. No, he can piss off. David O'Leary in, then go and get Overmars to do a duo with Edu, help him out in the European market as well, and the European scouting system, and this, that, and the other, and has helped build the academy up with him and Mertesacker as well, and that side of things. And get a manager in for, say, 3 seasons, like we said earlier on, 3 years of Benitez, to get a foundation in place, clear out the rest of this rot that is in this club, that's rotting the club to the core, clear it all out, and then go, okay, in that 3-year period, we then go do that first off, and then we start building in the next 2.5 years. And then by the end of them 2.5 years, we've got a foundation in place that is it's young, healthy, and doing well and established, and we're actually competing to get in the top 4, if not already in the top 4 by then. And then Benitez can go off, if he wants to stay, give him another year or whatever. If not, we in that last 12 to 18 months, we start looking. We need to find out 12 to 18 months before that end of that 3-year deal if he wants to stay. Beyond that, if he's not, we start looking for the next replacement for him. That would be a long-term thing. When it comes, that person comes, they've got a foundation in place, ready to go. They haven't got to mess about and go, oh, I need this player, I need that player. It's all there ready for them to go. And we go from there. Because otherwise, we're just going to go in the industry of what we've seen at Man United. Sack a manager every 12 to 18 months. Or Chelsea every 12 months. The only difference is we won't have success because they ain't got the right mentality in place.
Well, that was, I've got to say, yesterday, 90 minutes of your life you can't have back. You know what I mean? It was absolutely shocking, and I'm paying $8.99 for the privilege. I may as well just go out and get a hooker to give me a blowjob. At least I'll get 30 seconds of joy out of it, because there was absolutely none on the show yesterday.
$8 in 90 minutes? I don't know. That sounds like I don't know if are you sure you want to do that? 80 for $8, £8 or whatever it is. I mean, that's
it'd be about $15 in your money, mate. But
Warren, I'm glad you're on the other side of the country, because if you're going $8 to getting something like that, I'm scared. I'm scared, man.
I'm going on Hugh Grant prices, mate. Sorry.
Shot beforehand.
No, I was going to say something more, Ryan, when you were speaking there and talking about, when Tyranny came off. To me, I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have went 3 to the back at that point, just because you are now opening yourself up, right? I mean, why not go to your bread and butter that you can lean on anytime you want? I mean, that's what managers will do, right? It's something you've instilled in the players. It's just
No,
you're absolutely right. It's it's just the thing why I wanted to turn around and say about the appearances of players, and banging on about that is what Ryan was saying. He doesn't have the first clue of what his first 11 is, and that's 18 months. Come on,
exactly.
Really.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, I think we're going nearly 3 hours, nearly 10 minutes off 3 hours. So I think we're going to wrap things up now, because we've all got to get some sleep and move on.
What do you mean? It's not even dinner time yet over here. Where are you guys from again?
It's currently,
get some sleep. What is it?
At least we don't have to get up
afternoon.
early tomorrow. That's the main.
Yeah, it's afternoon. We need to move on from this and get ready for Thursday's debacle, possible debacle, more likely debacle. I mean, if we do this watch along on Thursday and he fucks that up, all hell is going to break loose. But we're going to wrap things up now, because I know Melvin's got to go. I need sleep. I need to, as I said, move on from this now. We've got the last bit of therapy out of our system. We've got it all out, hopefully.
Melvin's got to go and feed the people in his dungeon.
Don't you just grab a shovel and put it in a hole anyways?
They're getting Easter eggs tonight, don't worry. It's a little treat tonight.
Thank you, Master.
There'll be them little chocolate mini eggs, won't they? Just a tiny.
And you got to search around in the dark for them anyways. It takes them forever. There's no lights down there, right?
At least you thought they were mini eggs, Gary.
They're a little mealy, right? There's a lot of grain in them for some reason. I don't know.
Cadbury's cream egg.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then after all that, after eventually think, what a nice treat for my master. Come down the little get the woolly cops.
Funny tasting nuts.
Get the woolly copter out.
Oh dear. All right. Vas, where can people find you? What have you got coming up on your channel?
You can just find me at Arsenal Central on YouTube, Rugby Boy 101. Hopefully, I'll do a video tomorrow, because I'm free. So I don't really want to, but I know you'll all be waiting for it. So yeah, I'll probably do that tomorrow, as I've got a day off. So yeah, we'll do. But yeah, Russ Morgan on Facebook, Arsenal Central on YouTube, and Rugby Boy 101 on Twitter.
Yeah, Melvin.
Yeah, including you, Sam.
And Gary.
Find me on this channel. Also on From Dial Square to Where with Andrew, which I really enjoy as well. And also Over and Over Again with Richard, which is a Friday night thing. We do a preview there, and on another couple of things in all 3 channels. Brilliant. Really enjoy it. Thanks again.
Absolutely no problem. Gary, have you subscribed to Russ's channel yet? Or are you waiting for that? Are you waiting for the Top Bunk series?
I'm waiting for from the Top Bunk. I mean, it doesn't come. I don't know how I'm supposed to subscribe. I put in my request in. He just won't do it. I don't know. Actually, you know what? He hasn't even done From the Bedroom yet. From the bunks. He hasn't even. It's been a while since I've seen the bunk bed in the background. So I know he's trying. I know he's urged. He wants to go up there, but he knows that Gary. No, I can't do it for Gary. Not yet. He's gonna save it for a big event.
I'm actually on good terms with my wife at the moment, so I don't actually have to sleep in there. She's speaking to me, so.
Oh,
Yeah. So DWTT on Twitter for me. Twitter on YouTube for me. DWTT Arsenal in the search box I'll pop up there. Don't waste a tweet on Twitter. You'll find me there. I'm here for game day. Watch-alongs, and then on an Arsenal fan circle, twice a week, Thursdays and Sundays, and yeah, that's where you'll find me.
And Warren, what about yourself?
You can find me in Arteta's back garden with a big placard going, "Get out of my club."
If it's sniper rifle, what the fuck's that?
Yeah. Well, strange you should say that. That's what I
If
used
it
to do
happens
in the
tonight,
army.
we know who to go to.
Good, and that's your Cole.
I mean, very, very simply, you can find me on Twitter espousing a load of old subjects. Normally winding the 10 bells out of the really famous people. For instance, turning around and going to Alan Sugar, that his new haircut made him look like he had an old man's scrotum on, basically. And just on Facebook and on here, which I'm always very grateful to come on, because the guys who are on here and the guys in the chat, absolutely fantastic. And if you're out there, smash the likes up, because this is a great channel to come and be part of. And it's great to get on with all you guys and put up with some of the stuff I come out with. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you very much.
Absolutely no problem. It's a pleasure having you on as well. And long may it continue. Obviously, got a busy schedule from Wednesday onwards, so that'll be interesting. Obviously, preview and all that malarkey. Guys, say that, if you're new to the channel, you've liked what we've done tonight, you've enjoyed it, haven't subscribed it, do subscribe, do smash the like button, because especially the like button, because that does help all channels out with getting noticed more on YouTube and recommended by YouTube itself, etc. So the more likes, the better. Fantastic. And share the content around as well with all your friends and family or football fans, especially Arsenal fans. We need it. There's so many Arsenal literal podcasts and channels. I've actually found some new ones. Actually, I'll get onto that later, and another during the week. Actually, I didn't even know it existed. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, I mean, tomorrow I've got no content tomorrow because I'm taking a day off. I need the rest. Need just to. Whew. And then Tuesday is going to be a Champions League Tuesday. We're going to do the Real Madrid versus Liverpool watch along for that, because it's a big game. So why not? Might actually enjoy a game of football for once. Who would have thought?
Cheers, Greenie.
Yeah.
Enjoying a game of football as an Arsenal fan, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday doing PSG versus Bayern Munich, and also early on in the day I'll be doing the preview for our game on Thursday against Slavia Prague, and then obviously the watch along on Thursday with the guys here and a few others. And Friday I'll be doing the player ratings and a review for that Thursday game, and then Saturday will be the preview for Sheffield United, and then Sunday will be the watch along again, and we go again the rest of the week. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, Easter holidays. Happy Easter, and as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.
Up the arse.
Cheers, boys.